Futures trying to extend gains from last week as we get going here on a Monday morning as the markets kind of flip-flops back and forth between whether or not we're going to get rate cuts or whether or not we're going to get nothing this year going into the end of the year. Very, very positive. If you remember back on Friday, we have a whole bunch of earnings to get through once again this week as well, including Palantir, the big one coming up after the close tonight. We'll get ARM this week. A bunch more in the ride-sharing end of the world as well. We have a ton of Fed speakers to get through, including this afternoon. Williams coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. But if you remember, big move up on Friday into the close for the NASDAQ. We did basically end the day right at the highs. We're taking out pre-market highs right now for the Qs. It's only about 0.4% currently, but looking to extend that nice rally. Yeah, Fed speech on watch coming off what happened last week with not only individual Fed speakers, but Fed Chair Powell coming out a little bit on the fence. Adira is here this morning. Sharif a little bit under the weather. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I think it'll be an interesting week to see how this all shapes up with all of these earnings that we have on watch. Palantir tonight, Disney and Nikola among the names reporting tomorrow morning as well. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. It was supposed to rain all weekend, but it ended up being okay. So that was fine.
That was a pleasant surprise. It kept seeming like it was about to rain, but then it wasn't actually raining. Although Sean was saying it was raining a bit in the morning.
We'll take it. I mean, it's May in Canada. It's supposed to be rainy around here. But yeah, market overall in pretty good shape here. Again, a ton of things to talk about this morning. As you said, Palantir coming up tonight. That's the notable one on the earnings board. We do have a lot to get through this week, though. As I mentioned, both Uber and Lyft coming up. Lyft first after the close tomorrow night, then Uber pre-market on Wednesday. We get a firm this week. We get ARM, speaking of, 2.5% here this morning to the upside for ARM. Roblox coming up on Thursday morning then, pre-market. There's this whole Apple angle as well this morning. We can touch on Berkshire Hathaway with their annual meeting over the weekend, talking about some more sales as far as shares of Apple, continuing to reduce their my chart's not updating here. That's Apple. This is still ARM, but continuing to reduce slightly their position, but down about 0.5% here this morning on a Monday. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. And yeah, Apple down a little bit. They got the event tomorrow early, actually, the iPad event. And we're expecting some AI love from them. Berkshire still loves them, still talking all the good stuff. But yeah, they had a big stake and they've decreased it a little bit. I think the story more for Apple is post-earnings, what it did, right? Like we gapped up and essentially lost the support level. So almost right away, like it gapped up, held the morning, and then right at the end of the day, it kind of lost that support and we're gapping back underneath it. So, Apple down 0.5% into more or less everything else I'm looking at is up. Unless you're Spirit Airlines, I think. The NASDAQ's up, the chip names are up, Micron got an upgrade, Palantir got an upgrade, they're up before their report. NVIDIA's looking pretty strong. Like everything looks pretty strong, and it's Apple here that while leading the gap up on Friday, not as good. But hey, we're getting cuts this year, so that part is at least going to be good. And of course,
we're supposed to be getting cuts this year.
Yeah, and of course, rough loss for Leafs in Game 7.
Yeah, last night I was at the women's hockey game. There's my daughter and me as well. We didn't even get in until 10:30 last night, and she's up on the ice at 6:30 this morning. She's insane.
So you got to do it.
It's insane. Yeah, super busy weekend, man. Super busy weekend. I work here to support everything else, and it was a good one. And thankfully, Palantir today is blasting off. I mean, Palantir just in 2 weeks is up 20%. I mean, we were at $20. Now you're at $24.50. You're going to take out 25 today, and then after earnings, you're going to be over 27. So, like, Palantir gave us that gift down there, and I didn't buy anymore. So that was a great little run there. Did not get to that 200 period. There goes Palantir. Like I said, I think we'll be shorting Apple today. We'll wait to see if that comes through. Look at Bitcoin down here. Why isn't Apple.New York? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Bitcoin down here, 64,000. That's looking real good. So looking at a stock like Coinbase today as well, back to 226 and change. We'll see what happens with Coinbase. Why is my chart not My charts are sleeping there today. There it is. Now it's going up there. There it is. So there's Coinbase. That bottom bounce again. We've based out on Coinbase and really ripped from some of these bases in the past. There's one, here's one.
Speaking of,
very, very good chance of going.
Robinhood got a Wells notice from the SEC.
Yeah.
So Robinhood just made a move down 7% here. Looks like they've got a Wells notice from the SEC, just sort of reading it in here. Obviously not going to necessarily be good early, but we'll keep you guys apprised of that. Obviously good volume going through here, unfortunately. So the subpoena from the SEC for Robinhood might bring a few names under to the downside on sympathy. Worth watching. Robinhood had been so strong, still inside the range, still kind of in that same consolidation that it was in before. But yeah, Wells notice is never something you want to hear. Yikes.
Yeah, I was just reading through this as well. This is specifically related to crypto as well, guys. So a Wells notice is essentially, we're not charging you yet, but we're going to charge you with something. So just a heads up. Yeah, and it's apparently specifically related to crypto here for Robinhood. So we'll keep an eye out for any more details as far as that is concerned. Couple other things of note here. Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, gapping up here a little bit. Overall, Bitcoin itself not really doing a heck of a lot. If I jump over here, you can see it's basically flat from where we ended Friday. But Grayscale specifically reporting their first inflows into the trust since the beginning of the year. Remember when these got approved, Grayscale was already trading on the OTC. They converted it over to an ETF. So there was a lot of selling and outflows going from the Grayscale ETF into some of the other options. But for the first time, they've reported money coming back in.
Yeah, that's exciting. It has definitely not been like the main ETF we've been looking at. So there's been a lot of discussion with IBIT. That one has seen a lot of inflows. It'll be interesting to see GBTC, how that one fares now that we have some inflows into this, because I wasn't aware that that one was more the subject of outflows.
Yeah, a little bit of a gap higher here on that this morning, about, 4.5% here, guys. For GBTC specifically, IBIT on the other hand up as well. But as we saw there, Bitcoin not really doing much.
No, like we had that 65. There was a run to 65,000, like very, very briefly in the morning, but giving it up a little bit here. So we're back down under 64. Good news is that's where some support has been. You have a 3-minute chart up. It's like a lower time frame chart. As you can see, there was some support there over the weekend. But when you pop it to the longer time frame, which is what I pay more attention to, you kind of had this weird fail. It's not a failure. You haven't failed 65,000, but again, you have another lower high.
Yeah, I was happy that it was like
65,000. So I'd watch for that big number there. I feel like this week that's going to be the big one. Obviously you're past most of the big catalysts. The ETFs have come through. You throw on top of that you got the halving that's come through as well. And if you're unable to get past that lower high at the 65, you could run into some trouble, at least in the short term. If we were breaking 65, I was going Coinbase long break at 33. This might change some things now that we're back under 64,000. Then you throw on top of that this subpoena for Robinhood, which is crypto related, and might drag some things down a little bit with it. So I think you got to be a little bit cautious. 63 goes, you might have one of those liquidity type moves to the downside, and usually on IBIT, when an even level like that breaks, I like the reversal back the other way for a nice scalp trade. So we'll keep an eye on that 63,000 on Bitcoin. And I'll trade IBIT, the news notwithstanding for GBTC, IBIT still does the best vol.
All right. Yeah, look, it's been a really nice rebound for crypto, obviously, as we'll keep showing you different coins here, but Bitcoin too. Ethereum still the one that's lagging in the last week, down 1.6% still, week over week. Solana, nice little rebound there. I think that got as low as 120 in change. Ripple, nice move. Dogecoin 13, that was really moving around. So was Shiba Inu. That's only up 5 right now. Cardano, lagger as well. Only 1.6% there. But yeah, so far so good, man. Holding up pretty good. I'm happy that Bitcoin did hold and did not get down to test in and around that 53, 54,000. I think that's a very, very key level. I was just looking at TD Bank's back down. It's not back down, it's been down, but it's into some nice, interesting levels there. As we were talking about Robinhood and some of those notices, I was just looking at that, was they had some laundering issues. That could be a good opportunity there off the 50-period moving average. But then I pulled banks back, and honestly, it's been like, unless you just want the dividend, there's zero growth in these names. Like, this name is at the same price now that it was in 2017 or something. So it's like, unless you're getting in and out of them, which I don't really want to do, I don't enjoy buying Canadian banks, to be honest with you. What's up, Randy? I guess I can take this Leaf guy away from here.
Yeah.
Finally, and then we'll just now have to lament in the shitty Jays. Here you go, cheers.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Yeah. Sad. But we have our Jays. We have the World Series. We all remember the good old days. Oh, yeah. Let's keep it here and just, you know, but there, boom.
Did you
bull.
see? Yeah, they weren't that good this weekend.
Didn't they win 2 of them? Or
no, they lost 2 or 3 to Washington.
They lost 2 of 3. I thought they won 2 of 3. Well, I saw they lost. I wasn't home at all this weekend, but I saw they lost yesterday. I thought, didn't they? Oh, that was Manoah. Okay, so fine. He got bombed, right? So fine. He's still going to stay in the rotation, they said.
Well, look, I didn't get a chance to see most of it. We had like multiple birthday parties this weekend. I saw some of the games.
This is not even
but,
hot,
it was disappointing. The coffee's not hot. Sure it is.
All right, I gotta go put mine in the microwave.
Oh, it's warm. It's good. We're good. But yeah, it's if you're a Toronto sports fan, you're not exactly happy with this weekend. That said, that's what it's all. You can't just shy away just because your teams don't win. Like, you know, I'm a Bills fan, so I know what's up with that. And it's the same thing with the Leafs. It's the same thing with the Jays. Just gotta mosey on to the next season and then worry about that. So it's like basically earnings season, right? You know, you have one bad report, you move on to the next. You got one trading day, you move on to the next. Although I feel like we've been moving on to the next for a while as Toronto Maple Leafs fans. And no, we're not putting that in there, Darwin. It's too early in the morning to add that to the coffee.
I agree, Neil. The Leafs losing is like earnings season. It comes every year. almost on schedule.
Okay.
I had to, sorry. GameStop. I saw a few people talking about this in the pre-market here this morning. Huge 2-day run up to end the week last week into the weekend. We go from $11 all the way up to $17.50. Down decently here, a couple of bucks off the highs from Friday. There's nothing really much on this that I can see anyways for a reason, but a huge move up, obviously. Time for a bit of a pullback here.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because as you were mentioning, there wasn't really anything we're seeing for the reason for the move down, but there wasn't a lot explaining the move up either, aside from an influx of Twitter mentions on Thursday and Friday. So lots of people interested in the name. It's interesting too here, even in this move down, right now, we're still respecting that previous area of resistance here in the daily chart around that 1480 level. So not completely falling out of focus here with this move down.
Yeah, decently active to start things off. Worth a note here to start Monday, guys, for GME.
Yeah, you saw a bunch of these. Look, it was led by GME, and then like AMC was going. Even COS was moving on Friday. So it was basically like all these sympathy squeeze names, short float names that were all going. So I think it makes some sense that you're going to get a pullback. There wasn't very specific news to it. There's some social media stuff, some rumors about Trump and short selling and all that kind of good stuff, moving these up. But as far as I'm concerned, when there wasn't that much to it, I suspect it makes sense that you're going to get a bit of a dip. If it ends up maybe a couple of points from here, GameStop would end up down 10% because it was up so big. So you could have some kind of like an SSR bounce, which I usually like, but it's got to get underneath $15 for that to be the case. I think it's like $15.80 or something along those lines. Once it does that, then it's short sell restricted. And at that point, I'm looking for some kind of a bounce play, like 13.5, 14. Those are decent levels. Maybe in here, like that 14.30. I'm not just gonna sit on any bids, but if this goes SSR, I'll look for just one little bounce setup, like little bottom, higher low, that same play that we've done before. And if I'm playing something sympathy to the south side, then whether it's AMC or COS made no sense. It was up like 20% at one point, and it gave it like right back. So I think if you see something crazy to the upside, you can always find one of these other names that's only going on sympathy, and then when GameStop slows down, you get these nice little wick tops, and they'll pull right back in. AMC was a mover as well, though you look at it, it just did not go as much. AMC, a little too much dilution there for them to participate the same way that GameStop does, apparently. So I think GME is the one to look at, And if it gets 10% down, it's really more the SSR bounce that I'll be looking for.
So AMC, in my opinion, is the one here today because we have earnings in 2 days. So AMC earnings, again, they've been so beat up. Like the name has been pretty bad, but maybe we can get through this, and that's the hope. And you know, it's 19% short float here on AMC post market May 8th. You know, I think this is the one if you're going to look for anything, but GME is the one moving right now. So, yeah, that 50 period, I think you could short until earnings. So that's, you know, 370 or so maybe for a short. But I would almost play it the other way. I'm pretty bullish today, starting to look longs. I feel like breaking is probably the better play. So in that note, why not buy it down here near 3 and then see if you can hold it to that 285. And then just see if there's some chatter on Reddit, see if there's things like that come out on AMC. Trading's hard enough as it is. You know, if you want to take a shot on something, makes sense. You take a little bit of risk here, $3 down to that 275 on earnings. I think AMC's a pretty good play for the long. We'll talk about this on May 8th when they report, and then we'll see.
All right, speaking of things with short percentages, Mr. Noss, good morning, happy Monday.
Good morning, happy Monday.
We'll talk about a few of these here to kick things off this week. I mean, we're through, you know, most of the major earnings. We still have a couple to get through. We're past the Fed meeting. It's usually about this time of the quarterly cycle that we start to see some of these, you know, random stocks pop up once again and start doing more volume.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I like to refer to it as short squeeze season, and it may be what we're seeing over the last few days, and you guys were talking about it already, but I have the charts here for our Carvana. First of all, is the first chart. Again, you can see just a massive pop through that resistance area that I drew through earnings. The numbers I'm pointing to, highlighting at the top, are two ways that we measure short float at Trade Ideas. So the first one is short float, which is just what percentage of the float that exists out there to trade is being borrowed, and that's reported officially every 2 weeks, and we update it in our system. So if Carvana, at the time I took this, was, you know, nearly 30% or 1/3 of all shares are out there to be borrowed. But we have another way that I like to look at it too, which is days to cover. So just a quick explanation on this. I talked about it with Sean, I think on Monday in the after hours show as well. The idea is you take how many shares are out there to borrow. Let's say there's 1 million shares in the float of Carvana. And then it does, just for simplicity, 1 million shares worth of volume every day. That means it would take 1 day of entire trading to cover that short positions. How much trading has to occur to cover that position? How many days have to be trading of it? So sometimes you can have things with smaller short floats, but if they don't do a lot of volume, then if those shorts need to cover,
Fabian.
there needs to be more days that go by for trading. That's the idea behind it. So next we have GameStop. Again, this is another one that's heavily shorted, but if you look at GameStop, it has a 22% short float, just on the next slide there. 22, 23% short float in GameStop, but that equates to nearly 8 days to cover. So Carvana, even though it had a much higher percentage short float, because it's more actively traded, then it's taking less time in order to cover that position. So GameStop is a little bit more when it comes to these days to cover. So let's say, you know, yesterday was 1 day, then there might be 6 or 7 more days if everybody who's short the stock is looking to cover. So what I did, and you can easily do a Trade Ideas, I took the entire stock market and I took stocks that were, you know, fairly liquid, in decent little trends or bases, and I just sorted them by either short float for a while, and then I went to days to cover. So all of these setups have at least one of those, and these are setups that I'm watching going into this week. So first one is CORT, and this is just putting in this nice low base here. You look at it, it's 23% short float, which is great even on its own, just like that, but that's 12.5 days to cover. So if people start to, you know, some good new earnings come out, you can see a nice little pop on earnings. It's had 2 big bottoming tails the last 2 days, and it has this resistance area at, you know, say $26, give or take. If we start to break that and these people who are short decide to cover, that's 12 days it would take them to cover that position. So 23% short float, significant, but 12 days to cover is pretty wild in my opinion. Now this next one, I'm looking at Bitcoin over here and we're selling off quite a bit. But over the weekend, when I took the screenshot, Bitcoin was looking pretty good. If we hold this base that the guys were talking about earlier with crypto and we move higher, then MSTR is kind of interesting. Now, again, this is MicroStrategy. Nobody knows what they do as a business other than own a lot of Bitcoin. So the price of this company will move with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin continues to sell off, then this one's going to be out the door for me. But nice looking downtrend that we broke. I like the fact that Bitcoin kind of undercut at this support that everyone was looking at and then rallied. So that's interesting to me on Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin's going to turn and move higher, this is going to be a good one to look at because, again, 22% short float on that one. That's about 3 or so days to cover, which could make for a little short-term pop. Next one here is FND. That's floors and decor. So some sort of hardware type store, I guess. Again, only 15% short float, but that is, again, nearly 12 days to cover. So that's a pretty significant days to cover number there as well. Nice support zone around this 110. So I'm just going to play off this 110 level. If we can hold that, that's great. Last but not least is CAR or Avis Budget Rental. You're talking 3.5 or 4 days to cover, around 10% short float. What I like about this is the concept of a pro gap, which essentially is just a gap in which price was running down all the way into the earnings report. The earnings report must have surprised people. It had a nice little gap up and then it held that the prior day, showing that it could be a little bit of a reversal, and people that were shorting this on the way down, as prevalent by that 3 to 4 days to cover on this one, if they have to run for the door, that could lead a little pop. But I just wanted to note that this one is in a longer term downtrend, whereas the other ones were more, either flat in bases or in uptrends. So just know you're fighting the trend on this one. But I do really like these pro gaps.
Interesting to see on the majority of these charts anyways, prices have increased on some of these names that we're talking about on the short side. Typically in the past anyways, we've seen very, very low price stocks with higher short floats, but not the case anymore. Does it matter on the volatility side when you're talking about like MSTR, for example, 15 million share float on a $1,200 stock that also on top of that has, as you said, nearly 30% short?
Yeah, it's going to matter the price for sure. You want to make sure the companies aren't awful. Like you notice, things like AMC aren't on this list because as the company dilutes shareholders, that just makes it so that the shorts have an easier job covering. So I'm not really too interested in names like that. But for me, the most important thing is trend and levels. I want a reason for the short to cover. If you're looking for a stock that has a high short float, but it is just hitting new lows after new lows after new lows, well, there's no reason that the shorts would cover. So CAR or Avis Budget, for example, I like that because it gapped up on earnings. So what I'm looking for when I'm looking at these high short float names is if I was short the stock, why would I cover? And if there's no reason for me to cover, then it's just not really a trade I'm going to be interested in taking. I need that reason, that catalyst that's going to cause these people to run for the door, and then that's what can create these short squeezes.
Mr. Noss, great stuff as always. Happy Monday. We'll catch you again tonight.
Talk to you tonight.
Thanks as always, Michael. I think it's one of those, I'm glad there's someone in the chat, they're like, oh, I never considered days to cover. It's important because a lot of times, if you're momentum trading, you like squeeze names. When they go, and GameStop on Friday was a perfect example of this, like how much it was running in terms of the opportunity for the longs. But for some of these other names to go, like rightfully pointed out on CAR, like this it's not just that it gapped up. I mean, it's on earnings. I mean, it gapped and actually held the 50-period moving average for the first time first time this year. It's been since last year that's actually happened. So that's the kind of thing. Like if you were in a short on this stock, maybe you're giving it a little bit more. Maybe it has to take out like a 127, but at least you've got something going. And that way, if it breaks away, you've got some places where, hey, shorts aren't as comfortable as they were previously. But it's always important to be looking at more than just one metric or one reason to get into any trade, right? And then keeping in mind that when things squeeze, if you don't take any profit, they can fall back pretty darn quickly within a matter of days. As fast as they go up, they can come down just as quickly. It's an important strategy to look to take profit when it's out there. There's nothing wrong with letting it ride to the moon when you got some house money going on, but that only happens after you've taken some profit.
Yeah, I really like, I mean, we talk about the short squeeze plays all the time. I think that's a great idea by Michael Noss to look at days to cover, and we had talked about that on the recap show, in which you will be able to find Mr. Noss and myself and Adara there tonight as we break down all of the earnings coming through, and we will have an earnings board. We'll have all of that going through. I'm just wrapping up the sticky note, which will be out in 1 minute. But without any further ado, are we ready to go over the board? We will with Adara.
Micron kicking off the list here, getting an upgrade from Baird and a price target increase from 115 to 150, saying that they see significant upsides for the company. So nice look for MU. Bausch & Lomb getting upgraded here by Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley also upgrading X or United States Steel, lowering the price target, but giving this one an upgrade here after earnings last week. Last but not least, on the upgrade side, Citigroup upgrading PAX Services. Citigroup also starting the downgrade list here, downgrading Peloton with a price target of $4. Victoria's Secret getting downgraded here by Morgan Stanley. Citigroup also downgrading Comerica, and Unity Group getting downgraded by Raymond James here to end the list. So some interesting names on both sides of the board here, guys.
And speaking of earnings, the last one on that list with the downgrade, Unity, they report this week as well on Thursday after market. And we just talked about squeeze names, 11% short float on that one. So it's going to be interesting. Like, I think there's a few on that list, and we'll obviously talk about Palantir getting the upgrade. That's going to be on the watch list and going to be on our minds. They report first. But Unity is certainly another one. Oh, no, Palantir did get an upgrade, but I guess it didn't make our list there. Micron we'll get to, but Unity's the one this week that I don't think we should sleep on, because we've seen this really go before, and it's attempting to break a pretty long downtrend. If this gets above 26 for whatever reason, and maybe it does on earnings, I don't know if the catalyst is good enough today, but it's been gliding higher gently and is kind of one of those undercover squeeze-ish type names. That we're not always, I feel like we pay attention to it the day after it goes. And I think this week, at least for myself, it's on the radar anytime you report. There's a lot of good stocks reporting today that aren't these big cap tech names. I mean, you've got Rivian. I don't even know if we've mentioned Rivian. There's plenty of names reporting this week that are movers, if not the best traditional investing companies.
I have, the sticky note is now out, and I am applying to Katina Capital has upgraded Amazon. I think this name here, just on the chart, it's one of the best looking charts out there right now, bouncing off that 180, just tuning up off earnings, looking to take down this 190. The market's only at 18,000. If this market gets anywhere back near their highs, this name goes to 200, and then it's see you later after that. AWS pumping, Prime getting better. They're figuring out same-day shipping, trying to get that nationwide. We talked about groceries. I think Prime has been, Amazon is primed for a nice little run here today. So Katina Capital upgrading Amazon. We'll have to get that on the board.
A couple other things noteworthy here. X, first off. Elon is one step closer to securing his symbol to bring X or Twitter back to the market. U.S. Steel getting EU approval for this Nippon acquisition, or the other way around, Nippon acquiring X. So again, it's just EU approval. There's a couple more hurdles they still have to get through, but worth a note there. X is up on that this morning. I saw a few people talking about DJT. There was that huge move down on Friday on some questionable accounting. To say the least. They've come out this morning and fired their accounting firm.
Yeah, so BF Borgers here, that was the accounting firm in question. 1,500 SEC filings from 2021 to 2023. These are what those charges were related to. So pretty significant issues there with BF Borgers being charged there for not complying with Public Company Accounting Oversight Board standards. Now, though, they have been dismissed by DJT with Trump Media now hiring a different company.
Yeah, it's not their fault, obviously. It's the accountants.
It's the accountants, yeah.
Yeah, always. I mean, it's not a huge move, but negative here, guys, for DJT.
Blaming the accountants. No, you know what?
Must be someone's fault.
Oh, it's always somebody's fault. Look, yeah, this might flat bottom break this week. That's about it. I mean, on Friday you had big moves down twice last week, one on Wednesday and then one on Friday, and each time it bounced off the $45 level. So if it can get through there, maybe take out like 44, then you'd see some kind of a big flat bottom break. I might as well just draw that in there for you. If it happens, it happens. I'll probably pay for locates. They're so cheap for us usually that it's worth it if this breaks it down. But it's diddling in the middle here, and I just don't see a reason to be in it at any of these prices. But yeah, if it breaks down underneath like 44 bucks, it would seem like that would cause a little bit of chaos to the downside. This can move 10% in an absolute heartbeat, so you look for those moves outside of the normal range. But yeah, look, the other names are going to be like GameStop. If you're picking one of these smaller ones to go, it's got to be that. And we have a lot to look at this week. So back of the radar for a flat bottom break, though.
A name that's on my radar here that I was trying to leave for future talks, but we'll talk about it right now. Short float of Reddit right now, 10.8%, 10.3%, reporting tomorrow. So watch out for this name. I think Reddit has a good opportunity to actually have a decent quarter, to be honest with you. We've seen some good news from Pinterest, strong reports out of Snapchat and Meta. People using their phones, man, searching online. We talked about Reddit as a news source and everything like that. I think Reddit has a good chance. So I'm going to be watching out for this name today, possibly break. I don't think we're going to get above 50 bucks, but we'll have to see. Right now it's 47. Breaking through this $50 level. I think Reddit, it's like ARM. ARM was sleeping for forever until they came up with their first quarter. Well, here comes now Reddit's first quarter, and you're going to miss that whole move up there. I mean, I don't know if you're going to miss it or not. I mean, I think ARM is a little bit of a different beast. But if we come over here and see what ARM was doing, here's the IPO, huge bump up. So I can overlay Reddit on this. It would look very, very similar. Huge bump up, then a base, then we started taking it out, and then the quarter. So RDDT, is that New York or not? Let's see. Reddit. I guess it must be. So there you go. Reddit over here on New York. It's very, very similar. Obviously, we don't have as much data, but there it is right there. There's the bump up, just like we had in ARM. Here's the fade back in, right? Didn't really even base out. That's the only difference. This name hit the bottom of 40 bucks, then just ripped back 20% up to 48. And now the base. So this is the problem is the earnings came so quickly, but breaking through this 50 would be that play. So I'm wondering that for all of you out there that are trying to maybe play options on earnings or something like that this week, what about a Reddit 60 or something like that where you can really see this name go? We saw it go with ARM, potentially a play there for all of you as well on Reddit.
All right, let's get going here. If you have not done so yet, make sure you grab that. Absolutely every single morning comes right to your inbox for free. Just go to the website, wait for that pop-up, enter your email address, and then, as I mentioned, we do your homework for you. Top of the list this morning, I mean, there's a couple things on Apple to be aware of. As we mentioned, to start things off, if you're with us at 8:30, Berkshire with their annual meeting over the weekend, discussing Apple a little bit here. Gapping down, but we are kind of grinding back towards where we ended on Friday here. This is Foxconn coming out saying they've had their best ever April. So that looks okay as far as iPhone sales are concerned. We had monster earnings report going back to last week. China, not a problem for Apple here. We have the iPad event coming up. Sorry, the AI event. I don't think the iPad's really going to matter too much this week.
Yeah, we have the Let Loose iPad event coming tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Stay tuned for that. But the Worldwide Developer Conference, June 10th, that's the AI event. That's going to be a much bigger thing to watch, likely for Apple. But in terms of what happened with Berkshire cutting its stake in Apple by about 13%. Warren Buffett apparently hinting at the meeting that it was for tax-related reasons. But yes, between this news, Foxconn, and the fact that Apple's sales in China were stronger than expected, lots to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, they did say last week they are going to hint at some AI stuff coming up this week as well, so we'll see how significant that is. But as you mentioned, June for that event entirely. I saw that comment from Warren as well, said he hopes he'll be at next year's annual meeting for Berkshire. So, yeah. I mean, he's not young, obviously, but that was not nice to hear, I don't think.
Well, I mean, the succession plan's been in place for Berkshire for quite some time now, and I think, you know, like reality is reality. That said, we're not probably, I'm assuming we're not going to be trading any Berkshire, and they've done ridiculously well with Apple. There's no question about that. So, you know, trimming some, whether it's for tax reasons or not, it's such a large position there that it makes some sense. But post earnings, you broke through big way. It was more about the buyback than anything else, but everyone's excited to see what AI related news we're going to actually get tomorrow, and then more importantly in June. I look at today where you could be still filling in that gap. It did a little bit on Friday, and if you're going to do any more, 179 is the previous high in here. You get like a double top 179. We essentially gap through. To me, you've already stair-stepped it once down, and then another one gets you into that 79 as a floor, at least going into the event. Like, that's what I would be looking for. Unfortunately, the fact that we gapped it down, I just don't see the highs that got put on Friday. Like, they're there, and I would short them. It's just I don't see them as high probabilities out in that 186 level. You know, we're a lot closer to the key level of 179, which is that previous resistance level on the daily chart for Apple. Still like them long term, but the reaction to earnings was to sell the move out the open and then sell it late and possibly retest that support or previous resistance, turning into support at 179.
Look, we have easy play here. It's the number one, well, it's number two play. Number one is going to be Palantir. Number two is going to be that Apple short, 185.50. You have to short this name. I feel like watch out for Friday's top of 186. What a monster quarter they had, and what a great talk they were on Friday. And, you know, it started to just continue to go to the upside here. You did have one little pullback. Obviously, the end of the day, we had a nice move down as well. And then now we get a little bit more reason to sell. I don't think we get near here. But, you know, the market, I am pretty bullish on this market today. We talked about it being above 18,000 here. So I think there is a chance this name could run back up there to the upside. But Apple, a name that we've traded really well over the last little while, huge move to the upside. I might just get out. I just bought at 169, but I bought it, it was down in here on this move. And then it's been up there twice. And now we get that break. It's going to look like a mistake not to have sold something in the 185, 186 area. So I feel like a lot of traders will be thinking that. For me, with confidence today, it's sticky note trade idea, basically number 1 and 2. I love Palantir and I love Apple. And then the Amazon idea is there as well. I've given you guys Reddit. I think Roblox is another great idea here today. So Apple for me is definitely on my mind. And I already have the offers in to start to short up there. So if I have to short earlier, I will do that. And let's just see what this market brings us. It's weaker than the market now, so it has to stay that way, or else I'm going to be flipping to long.
All right, let's talk a little crypto here. Downside overnight. I mean, we actually had a move initially to the upside, and then it's come all the way back and then some. That's a 15-minute chart right now for Bitcoin. So we get all the way back to 65.5, and now we're back to 63,000. So I mean, if you zoom out, it's kind of chopping around within the range. But as we mentioned earlier, here's GBTC trying to follow the price for Bitcoin to the downside on Friday. They finally report some inflows here, 378 million worth of inflows going into Grayscale. It's the first time since the conversion or the approval of these ETFs. If you remember, GBTC trading on the OTC, it's the only one that was around. So people taking that opportunity to sell some and take advantage of some of the other ones that were brought out. IBIT looks very similar here this morning as well. Gaps to the upside and is kind of fading that out a little bit as well. Almost identical here, but good to see some inflows for Grayscale.
Yeah, and that comes after on Wednesday we had a record amount of outflows for the spot Bitcoin ETFs based on what I'm seeing here. $564 million in outflows for the spot BTC ETFs on Wednesday. We also have a lot of other earnings to look forward to in terms of crypto this week, mostly Marathon Digital and CleanSpark both reporting after close on Thursday. So that'll be interesting following MicroStrategy, Riot, and also Coinbase reporting last week. So crypto earnings on watch this week as well, I would say.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin here this week, but not doing a heck of a lot to start things off. This segment of the show brought to you by our friends over at Blue Chew. Guys, remember when the old days where you were always ready to go? Well, those days don't have to be over. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra. but in convenient chewable tablets. And at a fraction of the cost, sign up at bluechew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and you'll receive prescription discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and shipped directly to you. Go to bluechew.com, promo code TraderTV.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And look, speaking on crypto, at the end of the day, yeah, Robinhood stock chart looking a little flaccid right now. Obviously. So it's under pressure. Nobody wants to get a Wells notice. It is worth mentioning that Robinhood did immediately come out and say they're disappointed that the SEC has issued this subpoena. Obviously, this is with regards to our crypto asset securities and all that good stuff. And they're not the first. This has happened down the line. Every single one of these firms has had this happen. I mean, it was Coinbase, and so it's down the line with them. It is stabilizing a little bit here, only down 2% on Robinhood. But I just look at that $18 level. Sorry, yeah, I said Robinhood. For a second, I thought I said Palantir. That $18 level, which was resistance all last week. You had a kind of a double top going in there, and the 18. And I just feel like if it can't get above that price, this would be a short on the news pop situation. So if it pops, it's about 17.5, 1760 right now. If Robinhood can't get above that 18 level, I'd be looking for the shorts. It's not a gigantic short float. It is 7%. So you do have to worry that if they were to buy that up and it gets past 18, 18.10, you probably don't want to be fighting it. So this wasn't something that was going to be on the top of the radar for me. And then, of course, this news did drop, and the 18 level just gonna come into play. The other play that I was looking for, but might be a change right now, was that Coinbase 233 double top Thursday and Friday on Coinbase at 233. If we see 65,000 again, I'm pretty sure we're getting a breakout on Coinbase at 33. So it'll be Robinhood and Coin for me. Not really going to be looking at. Actually, I haven't checked out Mara. We'll wait till after earnings for them.
All right, in opposite of crypto news, Disney. Disney comes out tomorrow, pre-market. So this is your last day to get Disney down here. I think, again, yes, I am a shareholder. I've sold some on the way up. Pretty happy with the hold down here, but again, just talking about, not talking my book, just talking they're reporting tomorrow morning. Last opportunity to get the breaking through the 50-period moving average. New CEO talk, going to be good. Nelson Peltz out of the way now. Let's see if Disney can continue to work. I mean, they continue to up prices. You want to talk about inflation. Disney's inflation is probably 1,000% in the last 10 years, and nobody cares. So if they can get their streaming going, which apparently Bob Iger's talked about it being positive there by Q4, so that would be nice. We know that they're trying to get box office sorted out. Whether or not that works or not, I don't know if it matters that much. ESPN Bet is something. I mean, I was watching as much. I mean, I don't watch TV as much as more, but every time I do, I seem to see a sporting event has ESPN Bet all over it, as well as DraftKings. And we've seen sort of DKNG make it. I just think that the ESPN Bet thing is a little undercover as a catalyst. So, I mean, DraftKings has been holding up high side as well. I mean, it's not as high as it was, but $42, $44 here for DraftKings isn't the end of the world. I like Disney. I think it can work. Hopefully they can get over a lot of that politics. But I guess heading into an election year, I don't know. I guess it's on the back burner, which is a good thing for them. So, all right. I like Disney there, but again, an earnings play that happens tomorrow, very, very risky. And I don't think it's a super smart idea to buy shares the day before earnings.
Yeah. Micron, nice look here. Baird with an upgrade going to outperform here on Micron. Day highs right now almost 4%. Decent volume, it's worth noting, behind this move as well. Some of the semiconductors looking good here.
Yeah, I know AMD was up here as well. With regards to Micron, though, Baird upgrade with a very bullish note from analyst Tristan Guerra, saying that basically he believes this call could be a little bit late on Micron, but because there's been a pullback in this stock from highs, and we haven't seen that with the rest of these semiconductor stocks, he does think there's an opportunity for Micron to rise up here, basically saying that they do have upside opportunities with positive trends in DRAM, according to their channel checks, raising the price target to 150. So nice look here.
Yeah, 3 days in a row. If you zoom out, or looking to make it 3 days in a row here for MU, guys.
actually been quite good in the last year, and I love when a good company or a good stock is bouncing off its 50-period moving average very cleanly, because it just shows you continuation of the trend. It is a breakout play that is gapped through the key level at 116. So you're now $3 away from that key price. If you were to dip back, 116 looks pretty decent. The 119 break's going to be in play. There's also another bad boy that is. It's a little bit diddling in the middle here on AMD, but it's almost the same thing, difference being post earnings, it showed you a 151 top, and we're right back above a 151 as well. So I like, if you dip back in there, 151 AMD, 116 on Micron are setting up well. What was that on Mullen?
Yeah, I'm into Mullen here a little bit here. They got, it's not, I mean, I only took out 20%. This could be a loser. We always get in too late. Where is it here? Signs, what is this, InvestQ? Mullen signs agreement with California-based and HVIP-approved National Auto Fleet Group. So it looks like Mullen's got themselves a little another deal here. I don't know, I shouldn't say little. It doesn't seem like it's moving the stock that much, but up 9% early on that move right now for Mullen. We've taken a piece out of it. Let's just see what happens here with MULN, and then we'll talk about Palantir in a minute.
Just reading a note here, Sean, you were talking about Amazon as well. Loop Capital jumping in on Amazon, raising their price target. Loop going to 225, maintaining a buy rating on AMZN. That's just popping up in front of me. Yeah, let's talk about PLTR coming up after the close tonight. The most notable name as far as earnings today, but a jam-packed calendar once again this week.
Lots of earnings this week for sure. Palantir, though, kicking off the major names reporting, and they actually did get some shares purchased by Cathie Wood's ARK Invest last week, $4.6 million worth of shares for one of their ARK ETFs. Also worth noting, they got a price target increase heading into earnings today. Jeffrey's raising the price target from 20 to 23. So seems like lots of people excited for these earnings for PLTR.
Yeah, just reading Wedbush with a positive note here as well. Again, heading into earnings. Maintaining outperform, $35 on the price target here from Wedbush as well. 4.25 right now for PLTR.
So, I mean, simply put, look, we've been buying Palantir and talking about Palantir for a hell of a long time. We even have the Palantir hat right here, right now. We love the name. It's been a triple or so, you know, in my account, and I hope for you guys as well. We bought this initially at $9 when it direct listed. We bought this again at $7. We bought some at $14. I mean, this has been a nice move back up to the upside here for Palantir. It's been 20% in 2 weeks. They're coming with the heat tonight again, I feel like. We'll see if they do. It's been a nice move to the upside. Let's see if Palantir continues to hold these levels. I'm a buyer down here at VWAP, which it just held, 24.20. I'm going to wait to see if that VWAP is something that holds, but I am currently bidding $24. You know, they're going to get included into the S&P 500. All their deals basically, as far as I've seen, have been renewed, and they're adding more and more. So if their last quarter was good and they liked it, I don't see any difference happening right now. It's not like Alex Karp's going to say anything negative about future cash flow or anything like that. He's already said that he sees EBITDA profitability from here on. This is a forward-thinking guy, and I love Palantir. I think Palantir has a great chance to go, and it is. If you guys are watching, and I don't know, there has been something that I've been putting out for the last 4 years that's been pretty successful for myself, and we have the sticky note today. Again, Palantir is trade idea #1 right now, but we're not stopping just with that. We have Mullen on board right now, and that's starting to get up to the upside as well. We're waiting at 90s right now for Mullen, so let's see that pop off as well. So far, so good here today. It's 9:20, 10 more to go.
Yeah, even though it's early, there is already an imbalance on Palantir here of 1.5 million to the buy side. So it's, I mean, Neo's out there for 400,000, but clearly the big one in terms of notional value and just sheer value in general is going to be Palantir. So it's been a good run recently. It just bounced off 200. There's a 50-period moving average. That's support today for me. I'm bidding in front of that 23.5, 23.6 for if it does an initial push down. I'm used to Palantir doing dips when it gaps up on pretty much anything, or whenever there's gaps, you tend to see some selling going into that open. So I'll be sitting there out in front of that 23.60 level for PLTR. After the report comes tonight, who knows? But as far as I'm concerned, I want to be looking for the dip buy and the longs on PLTR. That buy and balance, we'll check back in closer to the open, but currently 1.5 mil.
I just saw this one pop up. Uber taking out the highs here. Another one coming up this week with earnings. But Uber is up 2.8% here, guys, in the pre-market on decent volume as well. Lyft not really following suit, it would appear. But Uber with a pretty good start as well. Yeah, let's touch on SoFi. I mean, it's not the first time. It will definitely not be the last, but Anthony Noto picking up another 28,775,000 shares with an average price of $6.90. Always a good sign when the CEO is buying the stock.
Yeah, the purchase itself is not a huge dollar amount. It does come to apparently roughly just under $200,000 here, but nice look. Anthony Noto picking up some shares here after earnings last week, so not a bad look at all for SoFi. Lots of volume on this one as well earlier in the morning, so it seems like people are going to be interested in this potentially heading into the open.
Yeah, if you zoom out a little bit, you can pretty clearly see why. Nice level here, guys, on the daily chart for SoFi.
Well, I mean, depends on your definition of nice. It's not breaking it to the downside, so I guess that's good. Down around $6.50, but it is still trending down, unfortunately, for SoFi. 1% is okay. The million shares pre-market is not bad either. But look, every single time it's been above $7 since getting punked. You know, essentially it's been $7.25 once, twice, thrice, 4 times, and pre-market here never got there. But it just cannot seem to break 7.25. So if it breaks 7.25, I think it's got some serious opportunity to go. But if it's not above that price, no, not going to be involved. I just feel like, you know, the stock is showing you that it's got a lot of weakness to it, and until it starts breaking levels to the upside, that 7.25 is the go zone as far as I'm concerned. It's at $7 today, so it could happen, but unless it's above 7.25, I'm not touching it long.
Yeah, I didn't look at SoFi today, so. We just got out another piece here on Mullen up here at 470, 480 there for Mullen. But yeah, SoFi, I mean, I can just quickly have a quick little, I mean, I'd rather play Robinhood because of the news today maybe. But yeah, this is nothing for me to trade, I don't think. So yeah, I'm not even gonna overdo this. I'm going to pass on SoFi today. Not enough there. Anthony Noto's always buying this stock. So for me, that's nothing right there. Let's just wait to see what happens with it. It's nice that it's up 1%, but again, a little bit of a sleepy name there. If you're looking for a couple pennies, this could be the one for you. But I'm going to hold off on SoFi and you know, just continue to focus on some of the bigger moves here, including Square. I mean, we don't have Square on there. We could talk about that because
that was nasty.
This was what was a good quarter, at least people thought, upside up to 78, and then they got hit all day on Friday, all the way to the downside. So a nice quarter, and then hit all the way down. So I want to buy 69. So it's on here on the sticky notes, Square to be bought down there at 69. Much cleaner play than anything that I can see on SoFi. This one actually makes sense. You have that bottom there, bottom there, bottom there. I think this is an opportunity, but then it's not an opportunity for the falling knife. So like if this market turns around and Square somehow decides to go red, then yeah, this is going to chop this straight through. So watch out for 68.50 if you're taking 69 longs with me on Square. So I'm going to put a bid out there right now on Square. 69 long, watching out for 68.50 to break, and we're gone on that one.
Yeah, that was a nasty, nasty day for Square because I think, like you said, like it was a good quarter by all accounts. It's on the watch list because of that offering, but that was nasty on Square to the downside. If it cannot hold on 69, you know, I kind of thought last week that we were thinking about 66 if it came back in because I love liquidity bottoms. But if it gets down there, we probably have other fish to fry trading some Robinhood. Speaking of earnings and post-earnings plays, Carvana 125. So Vana's only up 2%. Michael Noss mentioned this one with regards to its short float and maybe not being as big days to cover as some other names. That said, you know, they did fly higher, hold a consolidation higher as well. Ended up close to the highs on Friday at the closing at about 122. But now 125 just stands in the way. It's a squeeze name. obviously, while they did have to beat some expectations on earnings last week, fundamentally, it's not to say that this makes sense that it's a $125 stock. Let's be real for a second. It is a squeeze play more than anything else here out in Carvana. And then one more. I can't believe we didn't talk about well, actually, I can. I feel like unless the Chinese ADRs have news, we never talk about them. But Alibaba continuation, still above 80 bucks. 200 period still at $80 down here. It's at 81.60, but I still like the $80 buy zone for Alibaba. It just might not get all the way down there today. So I'm looking for longs on Alibaba above 80. Might just have to find a new dip level. But as long as it's above $80, I'm looking for that long trade. And we got a little something to show there, Fabe?
All this and thought it was all you really need to know as far as Apple is concerned. So this is top 10 best-selling smartphones Q1 this year versus Q1 2023. Even the iPhone 14, the year-old iPhone, is still selling more than the Galaxy S24 in Q1. And 15 Pro Max, by far the leader here, 4.4%, which is, oh yeah, their most expensive phone.
Go to show.
Yeah, margins.
Apple's still doing well, man. Apple's still doing well.
I mean, they're still the king. I feel like, you come at them and you'll see. But maybe not in China. We'll see if the other one, Huawei and whatnot, can come at Apple again moving forward. I still think it's that big Worldwide Developers Conference, and the next iteration of sort of their iOS that's really going to hit the market, hopefully right in the face, and then we'll be able to see where we can go from there. So I like Apple up here to short it, though, for today. We had Warren come out, not Warren, but Berkshire come out there, trim a little bit, which is fine. It's such a huge move up there. We talked about, and that's why we shorted this move, actually. And thank you so much. I saw some people tweet at me. They said how masterful it was that we had Apple early and then short late. Sometimes it's just lucky, honestly. Like, I was talking about it. I even had Adara call it up, and we looked at what the highest day was in Apple's most recent history. It was up 9%, and that was in 2020. So we were up 7 or 8% there. For me, it was an easy short. This is the kind of different style of trading that we're trying to do now. So I really like Apple here in and around this 184 level maybe now that we're not coming back. So we'll be patient. It's my number one and number two idea for Apple, waiting to see what does happen there on that stock. So yeah, Apple's still on my mind, but it's money that's on my mind, and I'm going to get it from any stock that gives us an opportunity. So what's up, Ben Reggiano?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. Still actually bigger, 1.6 million on Palantir. It's climbing on that imbalance. The other name that's out there is NIO, and there was a question, can you look at NIO? Bob is probably the one. If I trade one of these Chinese ADRs, it's probably Alibaba today, but NIO is holding pretty strongly after multiple days to the upside. Consolidation on Friday. If I wasn't looking for an Alibaba dip buy, I'd probably be looking at 540 in here on NIO as well. I just feel like there's a little more juice to Alibaba the way it moved off that $80 level. But I love the stair step up on NIO just as far as the pattern goes. And if it can get through, like I've been looking for this to get through 630, 640 for a breakout for quite some time. I think it's getting closer every single day. You just got to be patient with it. NVIDIA just made a bit of a move upside, going with only 1 minute to go into the open. Thank you very much, Rob, for the refill on the coffee.
Building.
But NVIDIA's looking like it might take out the high already. 900 going to be in play, it looks like, for NVIDIA. That chip name just won't die.
No, it will not. What's up with Amazon right now as well? 180. Okay, so we're bidding here 184. I don't know if that's going to come into play or not. I don't want to miss a 188 top break on this name, but it'd be tough to grab it. I feel like it has to get real aggressive to get all the way up there. But I'm going to put in a 188 break, I feel like, long on this one. So we'll try to punch it up to 188.15 or so. I don't know if it's going to break right off the top. I don't generally like that kind of a break instantly, but that's still $1.50 up. So we'll wait to see if that does come through. So right now it's Amazon, Palantir with a dip buy opportunity if that does come into play, and then Square with a dip buy opportunity if that moves, and then Apple with the short, which I don't know if Apple with the short's coming in. So we'll have to wait for that.
Yeah, it's a little far away from those prices. Robinhood in play as well. Wells notice from the SEC, just the same thing that everybody else has gotten with regard to crypto securities. But underneath $18, I like to fade for them. We got 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Ring in Adara. And now the party is started. Palantir, that was a buy and bounce, but not really moving that much off of the open. Looking at Robinhood here, it's also pretty chill. And no break yet on Carvana, although it's very, very close to the 125 level.
Yeah, Palantir is dipping down a little bit right now, so we're going to try to watch out for this 24 level. We just got it back into view up at 24.20. Maybe okay, there, we'll just take a little bit of a bid now. We would like to see this down a little bit more here for Palantir, so hopefully we will be able to, I mean, we have a small piece. If we're going to get into position, hopefully it does dip down here, is what I'm meaning. All right, Mullen, the only position we have right now. Nice little dip back into view up, hold view up. We like to see that break through the day's high, would be real nice for that. Amazon's coming in pretty nicely right now. Remember last week, we called some of these levels, and then they didn't hold, I believe, if I remember correctly. And we were wound up shorting wrongly, or longing wrongly into what may be a short. I'm going to try a spot right now on Amazon. Palantir just went up about 10 cents or so. We went to 40s there. Let's offer something in and around 38. Here's a trade that I'm in that I do not mind at all. Palantir long, Amazon long to start the day.
Yeah, first thing for me is going to be Robinhood, it looks like, in front of that 18 level. We got 1780s, 1778 in here, looking for a bit of a fade after that Wells notice news. No break on NVDA yet, but it did just make an attempt at 895. You tried to get through 895, now starting to pull back in here. Carvana could break 125 any second. Palantir doesn't seem like it wants the bigger dip, that's for sure. But a couple of cents away from a break on Carvana's got my attention.
We've already got it. Amazon long 185. We're in it right now. We just got some out at 60s, or was that 70s? That was 70 right there on Amazon. Nice little trade there. Palantir, Neil. It's another one right there for us on Palantir. That's a dime right there for Palantir. Mullen's not really doing anything. We don't have a huge position in that. We're going to wait to see what does happen with Mullen. But here we go. Let's see if Amazon and Palantir. Look at Palantir, guys. Oh, no. Yes, sir. Oh, no. Oh, yes. We wanted a little bit lower. You know, we'd always like a little more shares, but it's definitely nice when the ideas come through and it's another bang-up start right now, going 2 for 2. So let's see what's going on over there with Hood. But so far, so good here with PLTR. We just got some out up there. Wow. Good move to the upside there for Palantir as it's pulling back a little bit.
Yeah, it's starting to pull back a little bit here on Palantir. I'm still waiting at 80s for a first look. It's underneath pre-market lows, but it's not really flying around as much as I thought it was going to. Robinhood retesting. Hit enter 3 times. Robinhood retesting that $18 area. We're in at 83s. If it can't hold on to 18.10, then we're just out of that bad boy right quick. It's got to be that high. I know we gapped through it, but I'm looking at Friday's highs. The quick break on CVNA, if a break on Carvana doesn't work right away, I don't want it. So 125 went, had the break, went about 30 cents in the money, but that's Carvana. That's not enough. It came right back through. So we're going to look for this to maybe take it a second time and then try for the longs on Carvana, but it's still just Robinhood for me. Palantir now back into 24 even. Trying to play the patience game with that one. And NVIDIA still not really setting up any breaks of the highs just yet, but NVIDIA's getting real close to this 900 test. Adara?
Global entertainment here up about 65%. Nice look for this small cap. The FG Acquisition Corp announcing that it's going to be acquiring some of Strong Group Entertainment's assets. So nice look here for SGE, guys.
All right, NVIDIA's probably going to break 900 any second now.
All right, so yeah, we're into Palantir right now. On these lows, we're at 2407 right now. Amazon is still going to the upside here. So I have another offer at 70s, but I'm going to put one right now in the 50s. Get it out, cancel my 70s. If we can get a high 50 fill on this one, then we will take it on that. There we go. We just got that one there at 57. So far, so good there. I know you're short Robinhood. Let me see what that's doing. Okay, that's okay. And then the other play here was Palantir. So I'm only in Palantir and Amazon. So right now at 07's a couple outs right there. Here it goes. Let's go to the upside right now with PLTR. So it's only 9:34. We're in a couple doozies right here. Come on, Palantir, make this a special day if we can. We're at 19s right now, waiting to get some out. Oh, we just touched it, but then came back in. So right now 19s for that. And here goes Tesla for us for the upside on that. We are now, Neil, $1 in the money. This has been a monster day so far here. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves on this side. So far so good. We're into Tesla, new position. That just broke the top. This one's not working out so hot like the other ones, but there goes Tesla. There goes the market. Let's see what happens right now. Monster day.
Yeah, no good for the break on NVIDIA, though, through that 900 level. We took the break. It's going to end up being a failed break here, at least for now. We've got back into 898, so we're in and out right quick. Robinhood has been the thing that we're kind of chilling in. It's still underneath that 1810. I got my price to 17.9, and we'll leave it at that. We'll see how far it wants to go back into this upside. Apple, oh goodness, Apple, we like this in front of one. I'm sitting at 185 on Apple, and this is just absolutely chilling at 183. It got to 184 for a fade trade. I wanted this to be the other short name. Looks like it is, but it's just at the wrong price. 184 looking like the short level for Apple, at least currently.
Oh my gosh, guys. Palantir. If you guys are watching, like the sticky note is 24 long. There it is. You're done for the day if you have that trade one time. If you have Amazon long right now, look at this trade. Look what's happening right now to Amazon. This name is absolutely moonshotting to that upside right here. We're $1.30 in the money on Amazon, and that's trying to go even higher. But we should get, I just tried to get out there at 28. We did not get filled. So let me put an offer a little bit lower, punch out. There it is. We take 17s now to the upside on that. It's a moon city, hopefully, for Palantir. Let's get that rocking to the upside. The one trade not working right now is that Tesla break long. This was an idea that we were not super certain about. I'm going to take okay, well, we'll take an offer here at 30 if we can get it. Just trying to lick our wounds a little bit. We're long here at 185.50 for Tesla. You know, we're fine with it, but just let's get a little bit more out here as something else is completely rocketing to the upside right now. Bang! Thank you, Adam. That's a great trade on that one for Amazon. We really like that, but I like the Palantir trade better. But we're net, we're about the same. Let's see what happens right now. Man, Neil, monster day.
Yeah, it's about the levels. I'll tell you right now, I got the same. This is going to be the same result as last week. For the first time, my breakout on NVIDIA is not going to go. And now I tried to grab it a second time. We did want, I said I'd go a second time here if it went. I did not grab it. It's now at 902. I'm sitting here for the dip buy. If I get picked up, I get picked up. NVIDIA
Tesla.
flying through $900.
Let's go!
Vana's also going to the upside. Be careful if you're still shorting Apple. Apple's starting to pick up some steam. I still like 185, and as a matter of fact, it's got a bit of a lower high here at 184 as well. So this one's still in the pocket for a potential short trade. And this is the thing about a breakout trade. Execution strategy matters, right? Like you take a breakout trade, 125 on Vana is clean, depending on your execution strategy. I'm going to get in and have a tight stop. Either works right away or it doesn't. You see it go that $2. Now I'm just looking for some kind of a continuation play on CVNA.
Oh, my. Oh, man. 3 for 3 right now, and big ones, all given to you right on. Look at the sticky note. What does this say? 185.50 on here for Tesla. That's $1 right now in the money, right? We have our Palantir right here. It says $24 long. We're long $24 right now, right in here behind us. And as we keep talking about, just look at what's working out for you. There's trophies over there, but this is an absolutely monstrous day as we just keep doing what we've been doing, and that's putting up those numbers. So there it goes again for us, man. I mean, I think we might as well just wait now. Amazon's $1.25. Tesla's we're out of a third of this trade, 2/3 of this trade already. I'm actually going to put another out. We're at 186.86. Let me just put another out right here. I mean, again, all right, we'll take that out. Let's see if it goes higher. There it is, man. 3 for 3 to start the day. It's only 9 minutes in. I know you had Robinhood there. That I think is probably Because I was looking at Square.
It's still not out of pocket, but I got out at 1810, but it's still right there at the 1810 level. So I'm going to adhere to my stop. We get back underneath 18, I still like that short. It's more about NVIDIA and CVNA, right? Like at the end of the day, a breakout trade's a breakout trade. But the way I see it, if Carvana decides it wants to continue, there is so much squeeze room on this thing. There we go, 5 times. I still think there's plenty of room for this to go. It coiled up after earnings. It gave you a couple of days of consolidation, one of which was a down day. So I still think we got to get back over to this one to the long side. Do not want to be fading this name. But VWAP's at 125.5, 126 is going to be in play. Got to look for a bit of a dip buy, in particular here on Carvana, as it's continuing to fly higher. We said GameStop might be an SSR play. It didn't get 10% down at the open. That's the long that I was looking for. About 5% down here. Looks like 15 has been held on to. I wanted this long only if it was 10% to said downside. NVIDIA is starting to slow down a little bit here, which is worth watching. And AMD, unlike NVIDIA, never broke the top. So I always look for relative strength and weakness. Right now I'm seeing a little bit of weakness to AMD. Still bouncing off 151, but if NVIDIA gets underneath 900, this is probably a fade on AMD.
Look, I appreciate all the compliments, as you guys can see the real trading. Look at this. Here we go. What's up, Andre? I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page here. Thank you for the compliments on the Amazon trade, but here's 2 different sources. You just didn't know if it got down to 185. So here's E-signal on the 1-minute chart. The bottom is 184.81. And then on our chart, that's the same bottom. So there it is right there. We talk about having some of these, the ability to get some of these wicks. And again, to go 3 for 3 coming in here, we talked about, what the best part is about living, a happy mix between work-life balance. And it's like, I just do absolutely everything I possibly can with the family and all that, come in here and then have a great time to be able to trade and come in and do this for all of you. I mean, whatever, man. Sleep can wait, man. Rest is for the wicked. What's up, Adara?
Lilium NV here, German company trading higher, almost 20% here, announcing an order of 20 jets from Urban Link, also looking to have a connecting network starting in South Florida. So nice look here for LILM, guys.
It's not. Oh, man. Big Patty Ice is like Palantir, and I'm like, bro, yeah, Palantir is nice, but, I mean, we're on Tesla tip, too. Tesla right now at $1.30 in the money, still going to the upside. Palantir, absolutely Moon City. I hope we got some dude's graduation behind us at some point here. Amazon, $1. Palantir, 50 cents. Tesla, $1. Neil, kill him with kindness. Let's go.
Oh, the kindness is real. It's all about, look, man, it's not just about the calls. I'll be straight up. My top 2 calls both would have made money, but I didn't make them. At the end of the day, you got to get the execution as well. Like I always say this, like it's an easy thing sometimes to look at a key price level or look at a stock or look at a chart pattern and say to yourself, okay, I like this long. I see a big squeeze name like this, but now Vaughn is up at like 127.5. You don't want to get the FOMO. At the end of the day, you have to be a little bit patient. You guys are going to see me, by the way. This PRFT, it's a buyout. They're being bought for $76 cash. It is showing that I am long the stock, but it's not a momentum play. It's gapped up, but it's a cash deal. It's probably not going to go more than like a few bucks in the next couple of months, if anything. NVIDIA is the other thing that's going higher. Like if you look at NVIDIA might even be more frustrating because the breakouts on NVIDIA have been great for me. And I just tried to pick up the higher low dip buy at 902 and missed it by 15 cents. But at the end of the day, if it's going to hold 905, there's room to 910 on this stock, so I still think it could continue to go higher. But at this point, I do not want to be buying any tops at 945. Generally not the way I like to go about it. We did have one other name we liked short. That was Apple.
Oh, man.
Obviously, it's not going to get to 185 at this point. You're underneath VWAP. Apple looks like it's going to be weak, but we have to adjust plan. Not 185, maybe down here under VWAP at 183.25.
I know the one thing that's helped Adara for sure, and just what Neil talked about there about having confidence in your plan. We hit Tesla. I was like, hey, man, we like Tesla long. And this is the reason why we have the sticky note, right? Is because we talked about, looking at this and saying, hey, look, Tesla's up here in the top, 185.50. It was all the way down here, opened at 183.50. I still had that order in. This went against me $1. So to be able to make this money back, this is like, you know, again, confidence. And that's, I'm glad that we talked about this because that's what it's all about. You know, if it's easy to shot call. That's easy. That's the easy part. The hard part is actually make the shot. So again, you know, respect to that idea. You know, judge us for what we have on and how we trade. And the calls we make sometimes will be good and sometimes won't. But, you know, judge us for the performance that you see, guys. And, you know, hopefully you'll be able to join sort of trading profitability at some point. This is a very, very hard job. There is no doubt about that. But one that when you love it and have a passion for it. Shout out to everybody that's out there trading with us. We see you, we love you, and thank you for subscribing. By the way, did we get 450 yet? Let's go back over to the desk with Adara.
We have Nuvo here, Holdco Nuvo. NUVO is the ticker for this one, up about 45%. This one was a special acquisition merger completed as of Thursday. Traded much lower on Friday, but nice look here today for NUVO, guys.
Nuvo, the position board is probably not correct. It's going to need to get reset.
Yeah, it's not right.
Yeah, that's not going to be right. But just to go back over to patience, like I said,
because we long,
at
baby.
Level here 18 on Robinhood, it just got to the pre-market low. The setups I usually like are support to resistance. So as long as it's underneath there, going to take another shot at this at the same level we liked before, but with just a different out. So Robinhood, Wells notice, that's the news for them. I'm going to get to Coinbase in a quick little second, because if you're seeing Bitcoin still around that 64,000 level, and if we do end up taking 65, I do have a breakout that I like on Coinbase. It's just a matter of us getting there. And Coinbase wants it pretty bad. But the way I see it, we talked about execution plans. Well, breakouts didn't work. So there's 233 on Coinbase, a double top. But that doesn't mean the dip buy on some kind of consolidation around VWAP or the trend up isn't going to be in play for us. So I like Coinbase a little bit differently than I do Robinhood. No specific bad news for Coin here. VWAP play for me on Coin, and then see if it can take out the top.
I mean, I'm trying to stay in this game as long as we possibly can here, and that's going to be the big one for me. Is going to be Tesla right now. You could just see the way this name's obviously running. I think it can go even more than this. I mean, we're now out of a significant part of it. We still have 20%, 25% of this trade, maybe somewhere in the middle of that. So far, so good. I don't mind it, but it's not, again, it's going to be P&L number one, but at the same time, hoping that we can get a little bit more. We did get some out there, a little aggressive on the out, or conservative on the out. I want to try to hold on to Palantir as we continue to go to the upside right now. Amazon, we gotten out of a lot of that already. We only have 20% left. So again, trying to hold on. We've given some back here on Amazon as that went right up into that high, and we got 2 outs. So 2 outs there, 2 outs there. Pretty good trading there for me on Amazon. Palantir, and then Mullen. I mean, the sort of the forgotten soldier over here, Mullen, trying to figure itself out as well. So again, like, we're still here, man. We're trading. I mean, you want to talk about having confidence in the ability to trade. We right now have Mullen, which is a little penny stock. We have Amazon, which is a huge market cap, huge tech stock. We have Tesla, again, a play that's like sort of back and forth here with earnings. Not too expensive, but again, a pretty decent runner. And then, you know, if earnings is your play, we're all over it right now with Palantir. So, so far, so good here today. Upgrades, downgrades, different styles of trading. Great day, great opportunities. It's only 9:50. If there's anything you guys need, we've already talked about sort of how it's been for me over the last couple months. We've changed, and I feel like the results are really right in front of you. All those positions, as far as I know, are correct right now. So how's your day going over there?
It's definitely, positions are now correct. Back into Robinhood, I did get Coinbase on that consolidation, so we got 231s in here, long support. I mean, VWAP's at 230, but it also broke out at 229.5, so I like that for an out on Coinbase. If it gets 1-to-1, 320, 232.5, we'll take some out there on Coinbase. It's NVIDIA, which is just still going and going and going. It's obviously going to be a bit of a regret of mine and trying to find a way into it. Missed the 902 dip. I don't think we're going to see VWAP. The other play is what is getting dragged with it, and one of those was on essentially just an upgrade, Micron, which is trying to take out some highs. So Micron would have been like a secondary play for me as opposed to NVIDIA, but you still have VWAP here. It's trying to take out a 120. I'm not a huge fan of breakouts right now, so I'll be looking for a dip into them. I still think AMD is a little bit weak in that space. But flipping on over to Micron, because I don't want to be chasing NVIDIA up 2.5%. Micron's up more, but it has yet to take out that 120 high. We're back into Hood. It's about 5 cents in the money, but that's not that much. Robinhood's going to move more than it usually would after that Wells notice.
All right. NVIDIA. Well, it's not. Did you trade NVIDIA today or no?
Oh, I had the break.
Oh, you had the break. Okay, so there it is.
I mean, the break works if you held it past where my stop levels, but yeah, it's absolutely flying today. I had the long in it.
You had the long. Okay. Are you positive in it?
We've been over like 3 times. Nope.
Nope. Okay.
No,
because you said the miss of the day here. I think
it was the miss of the day for me. 100%.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay,
100%. It's a miss of the day.
All right. I thought we had missed that completely, but
No.
okay, so you did have it. So the $900 break. I mean, I wasn't really looking at it. I don't know, but yeah, I agree, man. I mean, we keep on having to say, look at strong names, and I mean, for me, I picked Amazon. For that. This is dipping down a little bit now. Maybe we can reload that, but yeah, okay, I misunderstood the question there. Yeah, this is a missed opportunity for both of us.
Oh my.
Well, for all. I mean, you know what? If you're looking long, I mean, there's so much. I could just call up any random stock. Like I could probably call up Disney now, and there was a trade there. We could probably call up Alibaba, and there was probably a trade there at some point. No, maybe not. Okay. Most stocks would have. So, well, yeah. I mean, look, this is what I mean. If you're looking short, you know, how do you know that? So anyways, nice move up there. The important thing that I think about all of this is look at the trend here. That's today, right? This is long, right? So, and then if we look over here and then we look to say, okay, what were we thinking about today? You know, this is how you, for me, this is what's changed for me. So I don't have these huge misses, at least I have all 3 that I want today. And this is what's changed for me. Looking long early. I am biased long. Biased long. Palantir long. Amazon long. Tesla long. Biased long market. Forget about these names down here. Pick the market first. Happy Motivation Monday, by the way, to everybody. Pick the market first, you know, and then go. So that's what we did. We picked the market. Like, it took a lot to put this in here for Tesla for me. I don't normally do that. You know, but we talked about that. We like it. It came in. I was like, oh, my God. And it immediately went $1 against us. But we stayed with it because we liked the market long. You know, and the market was working. So, all right, maybe now the market might be fading out. But let's go back over. Is it a desk shot? No. Okay.
912 just hit. I don't know.
Perfect. 912. Okay. Mullen right now, by the way. Money, 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 money. Yeah, Ramin was wrong. What's up, Adara?
Another pre-earnings name to keep an eye on here, Upstart, UPST, set to report tomorrow. Right now, they're up about 7%. Not saying any news on this, but worth noting they have a short float of just under 30%. And with earnings on watch for tomorrow, UPST, one to keep an eye on here, guys.
Upstart making power moves.
Yes, sir.
Up.
I can never tell. Big Patty Ice, much more reserved now. We used to be banging the tables. Now we're just calming down here. But we've got Palantir right now as that's back up to the upside. I know this is a name. This guy's a Mara and Palantir kind of guy. So it's a nice move up there. I say shout out to my boy Alex Karp over there, putting money in all kinds of accounts today for PLTR.
No question about it. Micron did take out that top, and it just went 120.70. So looking at this, it's a 120 breakout. Going to cancel the dips into VWAP because VWAP's not going to be coming in just yet, as we are looking to continue 5% to the upside. NVIDIA just tagged 913. It's getting a little hefty. But the low of the day just got taken out on Apple. And this is obviously doing something that the rest of the market is not. Apple, it's a VWAP short for me. I've canceled 185. I've canceled 184. The only place to go to is now going to be any kind of retracement into VWAP on AAPL. So Berkshire getting out of the way of it, and it seems like the market respecting that as well. We're back into Robinhood at 1807, pretty much chilling out, higher low right now. If it gets through VWAP, we'll take care of this one to the downside. But it's Apple that's much, much weaker at this particular point. Like, it just cannot seem to get out of its own way. And then I said AMD was relatively weak. Well, maybe not so much anymore. AMD looking like it wants to take out that high. So I no longer think this is going to be a short trade for me in AMD. If it had held underneath 154 while NVIDIA was still going, I'd probably look for shorts under VWAP. But Apple is that one today. NUVO, I see you there, Alan, in the chat. It is halted. The current tap is, that doesn't seem right. It's halted at 429, but this NUVO is currently indicating an open at 350. So it's halted up, and it's up 110%, but it's indicating an open down significantly. So be careful with this NUVO. Looks like it's going to open down about 15. What is it? Yeah, that's like 15% from here, down.
All right. I mean, I know there's still a lot of people talking about Mullen here. Let's see if it can break that $5 spot here for MULN right now. All right. Shout out to my lovely wife. Shout out to everybody also in the chat. What's up, Chef Joe? Maybe we will look at AMD right now. I found out why everyone's quiet in the back. Everyone's really focused on trading. So shout out to everybody in the back. Let's keep that focus going on right now. And my guy Ty back here is talking all about Blue Chew. Maybe he had a good night back there. Shout out to my guy Ty in the back. See, there we go.
He's going to have a good night.
Where's the focus? There we go. Now we can laugh and have a little bit of fun around here right now. All right, that's good. So let's just keep going. Palantir, days high. We don't have any offers out here. That seems a little bit silly. So let's do that one and chew up Palantir again today for that one. And look, man, it's been a good one. What do you want? Court? All right, let's look at Court, says Kyle.
That was what Michael was talking about.
Oh, was it? Okay, we'll have a quick look at that then. Shout out to Michael Noss, who will be joining me for the recap show once again. As I said, rest for the wicked. Oh, here we go. All right, Tesla right there, 133. Tesla trying to get back up. So Court right now, if Michael was talking about it, then he probably gave you guys the goods. Right now, obviously nothing happening right there. I'm getting a little bit excited right now because the net is starting to get going here even more as back upside now goes Tesla. So a decent spot up to 187 right now. We're going to go 3 for 3 so far with our trades. 4 for 4, sorry, my bad. With Mullen, Amazon, Palantir, and Tesla. It's a 4 spot right there today, guys, for you. So, wow, Tesla. There it is. Tesla Ty is chewing up the competition right now to the upside. A $2 winner, Neil, for Tesla. That's not a bad trade at all. There's Ty. Ty's getting loud. Let's go. All right, Neil, back over to you. Let's go. What trade you got on, my guy?
No, we got Micron up top here, 120s here to the upside. I just saw a fresh high on NVIDIA, so I want some chip names. Oh, Apple. For the first time, Apple is in. Look, this is obviously Apple's a weaker stock than others, but it just came back into, well, close enough to VWAP. So the first short on Apple, it's not where we wanted it. You're not going to get 185s. You're not going to get 184s. But if this thing can't get through VWAP when the market's just going higher and higher and higher, we did want this one only short, and that's still going to be in play. If we crack VWAP, I'll give it just past. I don't like VWAP as an actual out. Just look at a red line on a chart, or mine happens to be red or whatever color you have it. I don't think that's the way to go, so we'll give it a little bit of room. Coinbase is chilling out here, so it just bounced off VWAP. I do want to find a place to add to this. BTC is still under 64,000. So the breakout play is not in effect. I only wanted to take the highs if 65,000 is gone on Coinbase, and that is not the case. Micron was the newest position for me. We didn't get it right on the breakout of NVIDIA. Obviously, NVIDIA is now at like 915, so direction-wise, obviously we're right. just didn't get the execution. So what we waited for was a break of the high on Micron, and this time take the dip back in, holding 120. So now that it's held 120, you're going to see it go higher. Just a change in execution plan more than anything else, instead of taking that initial break. So Coin, Micron, both heading in. Going to take something out here at the first dollar, which I wasn't scalping before on Coinbase. Just a bit of an adjustment. Let's get ourselves paid a little bit here on Coinbase and go to Adara at the desk.
Yeah, it is happening now. It's already 10 a.m. Let's take a look at the market, what we've done so far today. We did have a nice move to the upside here for the S&P 500 and these other major indices, following off of moves that we made on Friday. So nice look here to the upside for the markets right now. We do have more earnings on watch this week, including Palantir tonight and Disney before market open tomorrow. Not a lot of economic data today, but we have Fed speakers, Williams and Cook coming later today. Other names to keep an eye on here include Spirit Airlines, SAVE, down about 8% right now after missing earnings across the board. We also have Paramount right now in this range, but generally pretty strong here, up about 4% after letting its exclusive talks with Skydance lapse so that they can now be in discussions with Sony and Apollo. So ongoing deals continuing to move PARA, guys. And last but not least, SoFi to the upside after the CEO purchased shares worth about just under $200,000. So nice look here for SOFI.
Yeah, I still feel the same way about SoFi I did in the pre-market. Like, if this thing is not above, like right here, if it can't break 725, like what is it doing? Every single day since it got quadrunked, you've had exactly the same problem with SoFi, and that's $7.20. It gets there, it dies, it gets there, it dies. It just got there again today. Is it gonna die? I mean, the market's flying in here, but only 0.5% to the upside. So I don't know if that's gonna be the one. I'm not shorting it, but I'm certainly not going long unless it breaks out that resistance. So Coinbase, we'll look for a place to add. Maybe we get VWAP in here again. Gonna pop a 230, like 80s in here for a reload price on Coinbase. That's continuing ahead to the upside. Obviously, you're seeing Micron and the chips go as NVDA. Yeah, NVIDIA is gonna be that one. As I said, it is what it is. We had the break. It did not hold that break. Still haven't even had a retest of VWAP or anything resembling VWAP on NVIDIA as it's flying higher. We were able to grab Micron as a sympathy play. It's up a bigger percentage move, but at the end of the day, I feel like that was the big one that we could have had there in NVIDIA. Still got to have some targets. If Micron gets to 125, that's an easy out. I think that's almost too far at that particular point. 126 up here, and then this is where, if we get to 123, my style of trading, if it breaks out from here and we take a 120, I'm going to be getting out early morning 123. So that's the last recent high there on Micron, and we'll make sure we take that. Apple still chilling out underneath VWAP. Not participating whatsoever in this move is Apple. So lower highs underneath VWAP. I want to add to this short if we can. You know, just not to pick on them, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be a good one here for Apple. The only thing that I love about Apple is this 50-period moving average on the daily and the 200-period moving average, and that 181, and then down here at 178. So if we get to 81, definitely going to take profit. And if we break that down, 178, I actually have my note as a long. At 178, we'd cross that bridge when we get there. Robinhood, last one, that just took out a fresh high. So every single time we're short it to here, we're short it to here. I'm not giving it to that top. You take it to a level. If it breaks a level, you get out. You take it to a level. It breaks a level, you get out. Looks like the Apple is going to be the one that is weak for me. I do see CGC, GameStop, and some of these other small cap ones running, but I was actually expecting GameStop would have ticked us SSR before we'd get that long. And without any new news on GameStop, I'm not a huge fan of just chasing it. We had this talk with Michael, and he said, and I've always agreed with this, if a stock is going to squeeze, you want new reasons for people to get out. So I feel like that hasn't happened just yet on GameStop. What it's done is a nice reversal, but this $18 level, 18.5, 1860 up here, I think that's that next spot where it's got to squeeze to and then make a decision on GME. Barry Mara's up 11%, and it's a short. I just liked Coinbase a little bit better. And Mara reports this week. Coinbase already reported. I just prefer. We already know what Coinbase has done after earnings, and then it's trying to break out a top here. Whereas Mara being a minor, and then you still have to wait for their report. I just felt like that could be a little bit more messy, but the level's more clear here on Coinbase.
Apple no longer a good stock for long term.
I disagree.
All right. Yeah, no, I was only reading in the chat there.
Oh.
Music full.
Okay, that wasn't.
Right there. Well, what do you think is the long-term play for Apple? Neil, because you disagree with that.
No, well, okay. It always depends on what you consider like the long. If I'm thinking long term, I'm thinking, do I want to hold it for 5, 10, 15 years? So I'd say yes. I just don't think it's the fast growth name that it was before. But that doesn't mean you can't hold it for 10 years. So I don't put it in a category that exists with NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Or
it's not a growth name.
No, but there's a different type of growth too, I think, that you're dealing with Apple. It's slowing down. It's maybe a more mature level.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a good long-term company.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I just don't have as much. The days of getting parabolic moves on it are probably done. I think that's
No, yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that now that they're paying that dividend, they got that dividend hike. They do have the record buyback on for 110 right now, so that's huge. 110 billion for the buyback on that. So I agree with Neil and disagree about it not being a long-term. I believe that there is obviously some long-term value there, needless to say. All right, Tesla up here. And again, I just think that you want to wait. We have that Let Loose event. That's going to be the chips for the iPad, I believe, or is it the MacBook? I think it's the iPad. It is iPad, yeah. So that's what's going to come through very, very soon. So
it's
again,
in the morning tomorrow, too.
Yeah, that's just like another, hopefully, form of margin expansion for them, creating everything in-house. So let's just wait to see, as long as they can get the quality up there as well. There it is. Thank you so much, Yoel. I mean,
I'm glad you did, Yoel.
Yeah, there's there's a super chat there. We're having. It is a tougher day around here, but we do have some big trades definitely happening, and we're just really happy to be able to tell everybody that, yeah, today is a good day. Thank you, Yoel, for that. Coffee on NVIDIA. So if you want to talk about what trade you potentially had, Yoel, there's been lots of opportunities to sort of go both. Like you could have had sort of that 915 there back into 910, maybe a 910 retest back to 915. A lot of dip buy opportunities. So as Neil's mentioned a couple times there, no matter how you look at NVIDIA today, there's been lots of opportunities to make money, just not really short, but there's been the breakout trade, which has been fantastic. Breakout trade has been one of the better trades for me lately, and that 900 was pretty damn clean for sure. On the pullback into 900, could have had that, could have had 905, could have had 910. Every $5 up on NVIDIA has been a monster, so I'm going to second that one and fifth that one on the like. Thank you, Yoel, so much for that. And what's up, my guy, Donnie? Yeah, Donnie Zimbabwe is in the building as well right now. NVIDIA to 920, thoughts? Yes. So, yeah, I mean,
920.
without getting it too unbelievably, analytic here about breaking anything else down, yeah. I mean, this name, here's the daily chart. I don't know, are you talking today? I think yes, today, if you're even talking today. Breakout right there. Like, look how clean that went. 890 to 915 in a straight line. And you know how long that took? That took a half hour to go up that's $25. So for us to move $8 from here, heck yeah, Donnie Zimbabwe. I think there's a huge opportunity for that. I mean, we almost got there. We got to 917. I mean, talk about putting some damage there on the board. I think NVIDIA up there near that 917. If that breaks that, then you're definitely, I would say anyway, so I shouldn't say definitely, but my opinion is.
You're one move away at that point.
I think, even now. Like if this bounces off 910, but look at the market coming back. So I just want to, before we get too carried away, by the way, Palantir is now your Dollar Club winner. It's at $25 right now. And to say like, oh, who would have thought about that? It's your number one idea on the trade list here today. Never went against me, basically not once. Palantir today, not only did we like it once, we liked it thrice. Shout out to Obi in the back. You'll be seeing him, I believe, today. Is it Obi at lunch? Must be. So Obi at lunch right there. 24.20. I'll see if he has Amazon on. 24.25, 24.20, 24s. Boom to the upside. We talk about having confidence and having execution and making the play that you want to make. Finally, it's starting to come together over there. So we did put the boom on Palantir. Thank you, Randall, and everybody out there. Thank you for following if you did this trade. It's been obviously a day changer for me here. So it's only 10:10. I mean,
It's still early.
Yeah, and that's the craziest part about all this is not only do we get to sit here and have this great time with everybody, but we also get to hopefully make a little bit of money while doing that as well. And, educating. Today's midday show will have, once again, another lesson of the day all week. I have no idea what the topics are, but we will get those. IPO, SPACs, and direct listings. Basically, stay away from them all.
Yeah, that's no, but it's a good topic because I think they all have their own idiosyncrasies and ways that we do or don't trade them. And I think for IPO specifically, there's some good strategies that don't necessarily involve the company being good or not. Like we'll talk about that probably all week. Micron, I did just trail out of Micron. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. One, if I'm watching NVIDIA and missing NVIDIA and then taking that break on sympathy, when NVIDIA just pumps like 4 consecutive red candles in a row, I'm going to pay attention to that. We'll lock in the buck on that trade and then look for VWAP continuation on Micron. So it looks like it's going to be a decent one for the day, up 5%. I mean, percentage-wise, Micron's actually stronger. And Rivian Millionaire. Okay, well, you must have accomplished that. Well, I don't want to speculate, but good for you. If you're a millionaire on Rivian stock, then you must have banked your profits a long, long time ago. But SoFi is trying to chew through that 725. It's flying, but unless I see a bid above that, this is what I said in the pre-market. If we're not holding a bid above this resistance, then I don't want to be long up here because every single time it's failed. So I'll look for like 730 breaking and then stop it to 25s. That's what'll make some sense for me on SoFi. I said it had to get there or I am not touching it to the short side or to the long side. I just got a take profit out 182.5 on Apple. If we can't hold underneath, this is 183.20. If we can't do that, then it can be a break long, but as long as it's underneath there. The market's pulling back in and Apple's been weak the whole way. Coinbase, we're still in the long there. No dip buy yet in front of 230. But Bitcoin's holding 64,000 area. And this got to 235. If it turns at 235 again, I think I looked a gift horse in the mouth. I should be taking that out. That's a nice even dollar level. And you know what? We're not breaking 64 for whatever reason. Like Bitcoin's just not really going. So I should be taking this.
Yeah, 64, just 64, not doing much. All right, we reloaded Tesla down here. We're long at 185.33 right now. I don't know. Again, as Neil just mentioned, the market coming down. I really like that Apple short. We were waiting at 184. I didn't even notice. We went and got coffee and a water there and missed it. So that was a great one. Let's see if Tesla can continue to hold out right now. Wish we would have got out of that last 10% up there as well at 187. But we did hold it. Now it just came back into 185 where we were bidding initially anyways. So we're going to wait for 184 to come down into play. 184.50 will be our next sort of area to buy. But up 2%, we're going to need a rebound in the market because we've seen this happen many times before on Tesla, where we get down to this downside and then it just continues to go lower and lower and lower before it gives it all back. It finds a base and then pops again. So that base could be down near some of these pre-market lows as well, sort of coinciding with Friday's afternoon top. So I don't want to be the one holding this all the way down to 182 to get an answer. So a break of 184 and we'll get out. I mean, we're in the money now. So, this is not like doomsday talk or anything. Let's just wait to see what happens with Tesla. I do have an offer at 50 here to get some out if it does get back up into that. And then, of course, higher as we try to get back into VWAP and 186. So for right now, I actually just realized I don't even have a 186. So let's put something out in the 80s. And see if we can't get a piece out now for TSLA. Hopefully a nice upside move here in the stock.
Yeah, speaking of upside move, I did just take out coin, so we'll ring the register on it. It just dipped underneath 235 one more time. This might have been the dip that gets me out, that breaks out the high here. But we took out 234 on the way back in after this last lower high underneath 235. It's now 4 times it's tested up here, which will probably mean it's going to break. We had a 31 long, so we'll take the 3 on the last piece of it. Just double checking NVIDIA is holding 910, and I'm still trying to pick up Micron again in front of VWAP. So as we're pulling back in here on Micron, I want to go right back over to where the stock broke out. About 120, you have VWAP at 119.5. Suddenly I'm only in Apple. SoFi's pretty close. SoFi might take that 930. I said I'd only go long if it holds above 25. If it breaks that, I'll go long 30-31 with a 25 stop on them. Netflix looking like it's strong. Uber 100 on the way. Gosh, I hope so. But Uber not really doing a heck of a lot today. Uber strong, relatively speaking, but now consolidating. Yeah, it's not going to be on my radar. I want to be back into one of the chip names, Micron, or maybe VWAP on NVIDIA.
Wasn't Uber? Uber was up today, right?
They are, but it's not breaking high.
Oh, up 3%. Ooh, okay. That's too bad, you know. Come on, Tesla. Again, we're waiting here in the 40s and 50s to get a piece out. So the reason why I say that's too bad is that this was one of the names that I was ready, and you guys know that. We talked about this, to pull the trigger on, and then all of a sudden changed my mind a little bit. By the way, we got out some more Palantir as it dipped below 25. We'll talk about that in a minute. And Tesla just failed basically at my price. They're 185.50. So we may have to take this out and then regroup on Tesla. Still trying to make our mind about that. It might be getting too late if it breaks 185. But I just got nervous about that whole robo-taxi stuff. And yeah, that might turn out to have been a mistake. So nice bottom there, 66 up to $71 for Uber. And again, coming later this week for a report. It's going to be a good one for Uber, I'm pretty sure, as more and more people continue to use their products. I mean, Uber Eats, I think, is the dominating factor with delivery.
When was the last time you used?
Well, definitely here in Canada. But the thing is like Dash and all that aren't as popular here as in the United States. So I don't know if DoorDash might have a bigger market in like the bigger cities.
It's possible.
NYC.
No, but we actually used during the pandemic 50-50 DoorDash and Uber Eats.
Oh, okay.
So for my household, I know, and now it's 100.
But what
We're
makes the
100%.
difference, though, right? Like for me, I think it's just what promotions they might have, because don't they all use the same drivers? Like most of the time, like you can get in a Lyft, and sometimes it's the same driver as would be in your Uber.
Well, to our experience, just like some places, like you couldn't get certain restaurants.
Right.
So like if it was like we wanted it from, I don't know, I don't want to make something up that's not true, but there's like this burrito place in Brampton where we live that I couldn't get it on Uber Eats,
right.
You could on DoorDash, so we'd use DoorDash for them and Uber Eats for another. Now I just feel like everything I want is on Uber Eats. So I could be wrong about what's good or what's not, but for my money, and I'm an Uber shareholder, so you know, like my bias is pretty obvious in that regard. Back over to AAPL, just very quickly. I'm still looking for the dip into VWAP on Micron. We might get it the way the market's coming back in here, but my next out on Apple is going to be down around 182 even, as we are going to the desk with Federa.
Just a note here in TSLA, the president of Argentina is set to meet with Elon Musk this afternoon, according to his spokesperson. So Javier Milei set to meet with Elon Musk this afternoon, as per his spokesperson, guys.
I don't know. I just got out of the last for 50 cents on Amazon, breaking through that 50. It didn't get to VWAP. I don't like what's happening right now. And then now I'm noticing, obviously, as I can see my positions, Tesla is at that 184.50. This was this is our last reload, actually, from this level here. So Tesla could definitely fall on its face here. I have no idea anything about this Argentinian stuff or whatever that was. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I think it's probably a good thing, but we'll wait to see what happens now with Tesla. I'm getting out if this breaks down 184. So a break of 184, and this name will no longer be in my account. That, of course, right now is Tesla. So let's wait to see what happens on this. Not super nervous about it yet, but not really liking this position as we're breaking back down in, and it's not looking good. So Tesla right now breaking through 185 and trying to hold. We just reloaded it. Our average price is right here. We're out 30 cents. If you're nervous about being out 30 cents, this is a good spot for you because it is under that 185. So watch out. I'm still long. We have an offer. Oops. We have an offer. I had an offer there at 78. We're going to put something back up. That's the wrong offer. We're going to put something back up 185.20 or so, just to break through 185. The last high we got was 185.38. Let's see if we can get this back up to the upside right now for Tesla. Palantir, there's the last out for Palantir. And now we have about 5% left of this trade. So many of the outs right in and around here. We're lucky to get that 25. We were sitting there. Good outs, and now we'll just have to wait for Tesla. That's really the last sort of stock that we're holding our breath for here. But yeah, I'm still long the market. I still like the market.
If you're holding your breath for GameStop to squeeze, you're then, well, you probably passed out by now. Unless you are, although my daughter has a good joke about how long she can hold, she can stay underwater without breathing. It's kind of a good one. I'll tell you guys that later. It's a dad joke. But GameStop, remember what I said? If it's not breaking out the top, it didn't break the top. Now, I paid for locates, and I wasn't looking short there. I was looking short Apple. Look, an Apple's working to the downside, but this would have been a money short. Hindsight being 20/20, trend down means short VWAP for me. That simple. So 16 bucks. If it comes back into VWAP, I'll try to get something like 15.90s on GameStop. It was dirt cheap to be able to short this one. I think it was 1/8 of 1 cent here at Real Trading for locates on GameStop. Cheaper than DJT. But let's get on over to the small cap recap with Adara.
IWM actually outperforming the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 right now, up over 1%, 1.4% right now for the Russell 2000. So many small caps running today. Here's a small sampling, including Outset Medical OM. This one's a short float of about 16%. A dialysis-focused company. It's TabloCart with P-filtration receiving FDA clearance. So nice look here for OM. Next up here, we have NUVO, Holdco Nuvo. This one trading higher, one of its first days after merging with the Special Acquisition Corp. This happened on Thursday, so this is his third day trading after some weakness on Friday, now up over 250%. So nice look for NUVO. Last but not least here, our NRXP. This is NRX Pharmaceuticals, up over 40% right now. Its treatment for bipolar disorder doing well in its first clinical trial. They believe that it could get some FDA approval. So nice look here for NRXP as well, guys.
I was sleeping on Mullen, man.
Intel could be a long.
Like, Mullen right now is like, guys, are we taking Bravich? I mean, what are we talking about right here? I thought that was Randy, but it's Ty. What's up, Ty? All right, so right here, I'm going to call Mullen. We have a new position, by the way, the TQs. And you guys know that we like dimes here, so let's just quickly take one right now. Someone last week was like they wanted to talk in percentages. I mean, Mullen's easy because we were down here at 440, so that's 450. We almost had $1 on 4. So as you continue to go up 20% or so here in the money on Mullen. So there's your 20% banger if that's the kind of stuff you look at. But if you just look at straight trading, this is another one right now on TQQ. All right, Microsoft has apparently a new AI talk going on here to ready themselves to deal with the oncoming onslaught of Google. How times have changed. We used to talk about how Google had to adapt to Microsoft. Now I'm hearing in my ear that this is potentially the other way around. So look at Google now making a move back down, Microsoft coming through. So Google's #1 business model, we all know, is going to be their search. So if Microsoft's going to, potentially damage anything Google related, which I don't think they will.
There's plenty of room.
It could be, exactly. There's probably something about search. So that's something right there. Let's just keep it going, man. We're gonna go now 5 for 5 over right here. So that is a hot dog cannon kind of a day because we're adding Mullen, which is right there. Amazon was thank you come again all day for that. Palantir is the money maker on the show today, that's for sure. TQQs, we just put this on. This is temporary. This could go against us. And I guess Tesla could also, if this falls down, I mean, this won't be a winning trade here to end. So let's wait to see. Okay, nice little bump up for Tesla. I'm going to take a piece out there because we did fail up there at 185. Let me take another piece out in the 90s or so. I still have that offer up in the 20s. So if we can get these out here and get that 20 fill, Then we'll sort of have the rest to ride a little bit here. But let's see if Tesla can really make it happen. We just touched 184. That's my stopping spot there, so we got to be really careful. Here we go, man. Let's start mooning again. You're not going to be able to wipe this smile off my face today, guys. Sorry about that.
That's what it's all about, though. And like for me, it started like 2 breaks, 2 losses, and then a short on Robinhood that was no good. But you just got to go back to the well, find the next trade. Micron, we're into the second time. The first time was obviously good, but we're back into the long off the 120, not VWAP, but the 120 level. And then Coinbase, which it's still underneath 235. I want VWAP on Coinbase again. So we found VWAP on Coinbase. Didn't go with the breakout trade, went with the dip buy. So what happened? I liked some longs in my note today, and obviously the breakouts didn't work for me, so I went to a dip buy strategy to try to take that trend. Again, it's just an execution strategy. Sometimes it works better than others, but you got to be able to go with that trend. I am into GameStop short, though. Now that's the new one, GameStop underneath VWAP. Let's go to Adara.
Let's go.
I have some of the details here on that MSFT, Microsoft AI news. The information reporting here that this is Microsoft's first large in-house AI model since investing in OpenAI. This is their own in-house model called the MA1. It's being developed here and overseen by Mustafa Suleiman, who was a former Google AI leader there with Inflection. So interesting look there. Former GOOGL AI person helping to work on this MAI1. Microsoft's largest OpenAI model largest AI model since its investment in OpenAI, set to compete with Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, guys.
Thank you very much there, Adara. Microsoft is flying on that a little bit. It had not been strong, and you're seeing a bit of a change. I was going to mention, I just got some out of GameStop, but as Microsoft is flying towards a double top here, this was not a strong stock before this news. Like, it was hanging out at the lows, more closely resembled Apple, which is stair-step down, like lower highs through on Apple. It was doing exactly the same thing. So I think you might have some people caught off guard here if VWAP's going to hold on Microsoft. And maybe even you know what, I'm not taking a breakout on this stock. I just told you why I'm not favoring breaks recently. But if we can hold on to VWAP, I do like the long on Microsoft because you've got a bit of a catalyst now. And there might have been people really feeling comfortable in that short trade. When the market's making highs and a stock like Microsoft is weak, people would have been shorting that one for sure. Just got some out halfway to the low of the day on GameStop. We got a 58 short, and we got some out there at 36. I want 1480. That's the current double bottom, pre-market, and then at the open, that was a low on GameStop. Apple still rolling a little bit lower here. Keeping tabs on Coinbase. I still favor longs on this. Bitcoin's, every time I look over, Bitcoin is at 63, like 9 something. We're not getting through that 64,000, and if we don't actually make a push through, yeah, we're probably going to get a VWAP dip in here. Just want to make sure we're not falling apart on BTC or anything like that. Robinhood's bad news might be decent for Coinbase, but everything pulling back in here. We only have Apple and GameStop shorts, and one of those two things will care about the market. The other, I think, is just some profit taking on GameStop.
All right, yeah, watch out here. We took another piece out for the top there on the TQs. We're just watching out for Tesla right now as we got that 185 out. Remember we talked about that. We actually got 92 or something like that as it's trying to fall back in a little bit there. So again, trying to take some out as we are not. We talked about this, about the long right now and not being overly confident on that because we're not doing anything. So this is going to turn in very, very soon, if not right now, into a stock picker's market again, where you're just going to have to look for specific names because, which is what I'm doing. I don't want to be jumping right now. The market's just very, like, look how chop that is. Like, we were just down there. Like, it's not, basically the last, what time is this? 9:10. So for the last 20 minutes, you're in basically a 20 handle range with some dangerous wicks here because that would have stopped you out of any short you probably had, and that definitely would have got you out of any longs if you're playing the range, and now you're right back in the middle just frustrating your account. So for me, I'm not going to get too frustrated here. I'm going to stay calm, cool, and collected. We did have that Amazon. Obviously, I'm a little frustrated with my last out there on Amazon, but as all of you know, you cannot be a trader and just wait for the tops and the bottoms at all times. You got to be able to get out when you see something. I thought we were breaking below and this name was potentially done, but still, to be able to be long down here, we'll take that on Amazon all day. And, you know, continue just to have, hopefully, what is going to be a better day, right? I mean, Amazon, potential short, wouldn't mind that up there. Palantir made the day. That's the face slapper of the day right there, buying it down there. Not only having the ability to buy it, but then just being confident in it. And if it doesn't work, we L on that, right? I mean, if it breaks through 24, we probably get out looking, I don't even know how, we had a lot of shares, so I'm not sure where we would have got out of that one. It didn't break 24. I always get out like 97, 98. We might have held that one a little bit longer, but we don't have to worry about that. And then the other one for us is Mullen. And I mean, come on. I mean, Mullen right here today, we dropped that news for you that they got that deal. And since then, it's just straight upside here for MULN. I punched long almost immediately. It wasn't completely. We looked at the chart. You know, we like this area. It's above the 50-period moving average. Seemed like it works. I don't normally trade Mullen, but when we do, we like it. Thank you very much, Mullen, for adding to the matcha tea latte experience that may or may not be happening later on today. And I was very pleased to hear that is also Adara's favorite drink at the barista. So, all right, let's go back over there to Adara and find out what's good with her at the desk.
We're going to get to that crypto update in 2 seconds. Another update as well, though, from that Microsoft AI stories reported by The Information. Microsoft reportedly putting aside some NVIDIA GPUs that they're using to train its new AI model MAI1. So potential NVDA connection here to this story as reported by The Information. In terms of Bitcoin here, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but in case you missed it, Grayscale Bitcoin ETF seeing its first inflow after losing billions since January when we first got those spot Bitcoin ETFs. IBIT, so that's the IBIT, that's BlackRock's ETF, in second place right now with about 16.9 billion in funds. Grayscale starting with 26 billion, now about 18.1 billion. But nice inflow look for GBTC. Initially lost because it did have higher fees than some of its competitors in the spot BTC ETF space. In terms of Bitcoin itself here, a little bit of strength after a sell-off earlier in the week here. Right now, we're still around that 64,000 level. Earlier today, we did make 12-day highs at that 65.5, but now back to that 64 level. We're actually just below 64, pretty much flat in the day. Ethereum, after trading above that 3,200 area earlier in the day, now right at 3,100. A lot of strength, though, in the rest of these crypto-related names. Solana up over 5%. Ripple up about 0.7% here. Cardano up about 1/3%. But some of these other names weaker. Tron and Shiba Inu both down in the day right now, guys.
Man.
Oh no, don't.
We're getting violent
Shiba
right now.
Inu.
Oh no, not Shiba Inu.
No, not Shiba Inu. Please.
Man, what am I gonna do? My whole retirement plans.
You know what? I think my Coinbase account actually has some Shiba Inu. I was like testing stuff out. I bought a little bit one day, just moving from one thing to another, and I probably still have like a very tiny bit, so I shouldn't joke about it too much. But just back over to the market, which is still going to the downside. I mean, slightly going to the downside. We're not getting Microsoft into VWAP, however. Like with this market pullback, Microsoft is consolidating up here above $408. So I'm going to wet the beak, and we gave the news there. Obviously good for NVIDIA as well, but Microsoft reversing course a little bit here. So I'm gonna look for something in the 20s on Softy. Hamster asking, are you going short Donkey Kong? You know what, we haven't even looked at DraftKings once today. Probably not. I mean, am I gonna short a random stock that I haven't looked at today? The answer is gonna be usually no. Don't even like the level.
Not?
No, the level was $46 was resistance. Yeah, there it is on the daily. $46 on DraftKings. That's the resistance level on DK and NG. And it's trending to the upside. It's holding the 50-period moving average. That's 43.5. It's above that right now. It's stair step up.
Try to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a short there on DraftKings at all. Up 5%. Hard pass.
Yeah. All right. I'm yelling at Tesla here, trying to get this thing to go. You know, we've given some back, getting some out here, but we're getting lighter and lighter because I'm obviously sitting here about to break through 184, but our average price, we always talk about how that works. So I've taken hits on the way down now, given some money back. So the fact that okay, I'm gonna take a piece out right here at 61. Oh no, Do not stop at 60. I just hit off. Okay, good. Now we're starting to go. So let's see if Tesla now wants to get back up to the upside. Our net on Tesla is virtually going to be the same, but we need this to break through 185 to actually make some real money, because that's 185 there. That's 184.55. That's 184.30. So again, all of these fills are at 185 or lower. So, you know, the fact that we're just piecing it out now, like I said, and in, you know, attempt to show you guys and be honest with you, although my price says 39, that's my last. It's a combination of all of my last fills until I get them all out. So that's why it's there. But yeah, definitely not behaving the proper way. And neither is the market. So I actually went long the market because we got a dip off VWAP right there. Plus we had that Microsoft news. I thought that would kind of rally a little bit there. Doesn't, and like I said, we're trying to do a little more macro stuff as well. So if that's not really happening right now, it's 10:34. We can get away from this. Still waiting what's for lunch. We'll tell you guys as soon as that comes through. But for right now, it's kind of like,
Block's looking.
wait, $1? Yeah, block is at 69. No, not
Oh,
yet.
no.
Okay, so it did get there. So Mullen right now at the high of the day. We'll hold on to that one. Palantir, we just have a small piece, man. I mean, maybe a dip back to 24.40 there for Palantir will get me excited a little bit. But even then, like, I don't know about that one. We've already taken a lot. I don't want to give it back. It's just Tesla that's going to break. So. And again, not to talk too negatively about this, but it's looking more and more. There it goes. So I was just going to say it's looking more and more like it wants that. So again, look at that. A couple good outs here on the upside, and then it just failed. Break right there, 184. We got out right at 184. Pretty good 93s or so as the price there. So it's not going to look good now, but we're fine with that one. Tesla downside right now as the market tries to figure it out. But you see, now that we get taken out, I'm thinking about buying it back. Oh, man, see, now we'd be in the money again. That's okay. Back and forth with Tesla 30 cents, is I can get in trouble doing that. So let's just be careful with Tesla.
Yeah, speaking of back and forth like 30 cents, that's what Microsoft is doing right now, which
I'm
is
going back, yeah.
for a $400 stock that just had AI news, the fact that it's not going more than, I mean, it's not breaking the VWAP, it's not breaking more than 30 or 40 cents in the money, so it's a bit weird, but we're at that time of day. It's 10:30, things slow down a little bit, you gotta be patient with it. When you mentioned Tesla was weak, I just noted Rivian failed $10.50. Not to pick on Rivian, failing $10.50 underneath VWAP and a potential flat bottom here that could get taken out for a move down to $10, or at least $9.90, which was a double bottom in yesterday's trade. But Softy, like, you had the news. I still like it. I got some there at the 25 or 23 level. It just went like 30 cents in the money, and it's not going any further. I don't wonder if there isn't a scalp trade here for Microsoft. Maybe we'll have to do it next time. GameStop, I still feel like this is solid underneath VWAP. The last push up didn't get us there, so I'm going to give it one chance. Like, it just made a nice little recovery back to 1540. One more push, and I try to get 1560s again. Obviously, the second I say that, GameStop starts rolling back over. So I'm still at the low of the day to get out of GME here. But yeah, still looking pretty weak on GameStop. It never went short sell restricted. If it breaks 15 and gets down to this low, then it is short sell restricted. So I'm getting out in front of the pre-market bottom because I don't want to be still holding the short when it goes SSR.
All right, I unfortunately got out of Tesla. Remember we talked about having the bottom wick of the day on Palantir? It's not, for me, it's not a proper trading day unless I really, you know, get hit badly on a stock and make the bottom. Thankfully, this was not badly because we've changed and we were able to get some out on the top side there. But look at that, bouncing. I should have, instead of just setting it at 184, I don't know why we didn't look at the 200 period, but whatever. We got back in right now. Tesla once again back into green Stockville. I wish I didn't punch out there, then we would look like a genius, but at least we're able to buy it back. It's a hell of a green stock right now for me, so we'll watch out for that. That's Tesla. And then the Qs are making that move right back. So I don't know, guys. We are going to have a 5 for 5 morning right now with all the stocks we want to trade. Mullen was a surprise, but look what's happening to Mullen right now. That's a face slapper all day on Mullen, guys. Like, we're now up 30% on this position. This is a $4 name. We're in at 455. We're a buck in the money on a $4 name. So 25% up right now on Mullen. good move there. Uber's continuously going higher right now as well, breaking through that. Congratulations, anybody that nailed Uber. Great trade on that. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see if this market wants to work. Even though we're long Tesla, wow, come on, Tesla. Let's go, man. We did reload, then we emptied out the clip, then we reloaded again. So right now, Tesla trying to get back up into that 185. So boom, boom. You know, this is what we say about making sure that you trust your positions and your reads. We thought Tesla was a long. We did get hit there on that move down, but look what's happening. The market's just kind of going back to its home here. So let's get another piece out on Tesla and say thank you very much for yet again another member. So we'll wait to see what happens here with Tesla. If it does get over that 185, we'll take 80 cents, put that in our pocket, and say, what's up, eh? Over there at the green screen.
Lots of strength in a lot of sectors this morning. Of course, electronic technology getting buoyed here by this upgrade from Baird for Micron. Super micro here. SMCI also recovering from some weakness last week on earnings, now up about 3% today. NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, all very strong in electronic technology. Some strength as well in technology services. Finance strong across the board here, though BRAKB, despite reporting earnings, not really reacting here much as Berkshire Hathaway. Nice strength as well. Producer manufacturing green across the board. Energy minerals recovering some weakness in oil last week. Now very much to the upside as a group here. Commercial services, consumer durables, communications, industrial services, transportation, as just mentioned by Sean there as well. Uber very strong heading to its earnings alongside Lyft later this week. Not a lot of weak sectors to keep an eye on, though. A little bit of more tame action here in retail trade, which is more or less mixed across the board. And consumer non-durables, a couple post-earnings names from last week trading to the downside, most notably Monster Energy and Estee Lauder, guys.
Estee Lauder, Monster. You know what, Monster, I was joking about this last week, that like I've never had a Monster Energy drink in my life. And I know how popular it is amongst a lot of people, and the stock being over its lifetime, one of the most impressive runs of any stock in the market. But yeah, I've never had it, not into it, but I'm out of GameStop. And I gave the reason why, and maybe it's right, maybe it's not, but at that pre-market low, it tags short sell restricted. And this is where it bounced on Friday. I'm not in the long. I'd like to see it break the bottom here, maybe test 14.5, and then start looking for longs on GME. It wicked through 17, it then went underneath VWAP for the short trade, and we got it to the low of the day there. It's about 75 pennies. If you got it perfect, I guess you could have made $1 if you got like right up here and got top wick. But getting in top wick on a stock like GameStop is going to be a little bit difficult. Really not going to happen, because I didn't decide I wanted it till after it was underneath VWAP. Apple's still holding. The market's trying to test higher, but you know what? Apple starting to form a bit of a wedge here, which means both higher lows and higher highs. So that doesn't necessarily bode well for the longs. Microsoft still chilling here at 408. Needs to break out this top. 408.60. Since the news came out, like, it spiked up $2 and is now held a 40 to 50 cent range for Softy. Still looking relatively strong. Bryce is saying we should be checking out Uber. Uber is super strong today. Yeah, no question about it. Trend up here. I like joining the trend, but at 1142, generally I like dip buying. Like, Microsoft gave you a consolidation. Congratulations, you're long 71.5 or long VWAP. Like, that's where I'd be liking to get into this thing. Not necessarily punching the top at 1142. But into the breakout price, 71.50, yeah, that's a little better.
All right. I mean, the Qs right now just continues to go. So we're pretty happy right now with everything that we're looking at right there. We just got out, I mean, the Qs went back up into basically the day's high again right there. So we got another piece out. We're only in now 20% of the TQQ position. Like, everything today has worked out for us. We're not at our highest spot because Amazon dropped in and we got our last 20% out there. That was definitely not a good out. But Amazon still carrying the day as P&L number 2 for everybody. P&L number 1, and it's infinitely P&L number 1, is Palantir right now to the upside. It's still going, so if we can hold on to that one and get back up there, that would be really great. Waiting just for Tesla. Okay. Yeah. Coming tomorrow is Palantir. Coming later on, we talked about Reddit as a possible play. I haven't even looked at this today. We talked about this earlier. Okay. Well, yeah. Reddit really gets going early, man. We talked about why I like that stock heading into earnings coming this week. We saw ARM miss that opportunity. I don't know, man, if people are still searching all over the place. We had daily active users up on Snapchat and on Instagram or Meta. So nice move to the upside there for Reddit. We'll see if that can catch a bid as well. And then we had, obviously, this is not just based on those two stocks. We had some nice moves up as well, I believe. I don't know if it's faded back. It has not in Pinterest. So there's been some nice movements here in these names. So I was just thinking that we could get something else right there. I was about to short Google, and this would be the name that probably I'm going to get short on. It's down today. I really like Google, and I think it's a huge long term. I talked about this as being one of my, Apple might be after that recent move up, like battling, but they're all the same stocks for me. Apple, Google, Microsoft as key holdings. We did trim Meta and Google, actually, as we talked about that. We've recently bought more Alibaba.
Oh yeah, Alibaba.
But for right now, I think Google's a short. It's under VWAP. The market's trying to figure itself out. If we get any bumps, which isn't that much, we could almost go short right now, up to 167. I would kind of like that short. It's $1 now, and we're still going. Look what's happening right now. Shout out to Brendo there as well. And oh yeah, by the way, shout out to everybody that checked out our podcast. We did not have a podcast this last week because we are revamping the podcast. So stay tuned for that in a couple of weeks. TBD at this point, but it's sooner rather than later. We are revamping it all, and me and Brendan will bring 10 times the content and, well, I don't 10 times as an amount, probably not, but definitely a great show coming for you as we revamp all of that. Look for some guests and get going. Yeah, send it. Then we will do that. We also do have a new podcast channel up. Whoopsies. Oh no, I closed Trade Ideas. I just have to go find it. Freedom and Wealth. We'll get that going for you in just about a minute. So, yeah, man, so far.
Check out the video dropped on Saturday because that'll kind of tee up.
Although I don't think we had any social medias for that.
Well, it's still the teaser for it, but check it out. It dropped on Saturday morning at the regular time. You get an idea of what changes that it'll be going through. Oh, don't say flush. Not yet.
Flushy.
I couldn't get any more Apple. So, and
that's my only short idea too.
Well, okay, so I'm going back to the well here for a second. But look at what just happened on Intel. So this is last week's double top once, twice, and 2 wicks at 31.20, and we're right back to 31. All right. Well, if you show me a short setup like that and back under VWAP, then I want to be short Intel. So VWAP is right here, 31.08 essentially, but back into this high. It's a couple of times that it tagged that top and just unable to get through it. And if the market's going to roll over, then this one should along with it. Microsoft is just getting weird with this stock now. 40 cents. This has not really moved outside of that range. If this takes out VWAP, we really got to get out of that bad boy because it's just not going after that news. It spiked up, volume was good, and then now it's just consolidating. But I like Intel short as well as Apple, which we're still in.
Guys, Mullen is still mooning. So, like, I mean, I wish I knew that this was going to be the idea that it turned out to be, because then we would not covered twice there. But again, nice bump ups. We were pretty happy with that cover. Now Mullen up 40%. Wow. Again, just thanks for watching. And yeah, for sure right now. Wow. Okay. Good move right there. TQ's back in. We only have 20% left. We did talk about getting out there at the high of the day for the TQQ right there. You mentioned Apple. I mean, Apple for me is not, like you mentioned, you didn't get enough Apple. Like, I would love for that to come up here again. But I mean, realistically, 80s, even VWAP. But we just flipped it up and went over to Google. Let's see if this can go. I mean, I think like there's some support there. We did get a move down into 166. Wow, Mullen right now is still mooning, man, trying to break $6. Like, we didn't really go over this too much. It's just a shot play again. We're here to make it for you. But at the end of the day, like anything in and around this 630 area, I'm getting out. So I'm going to put an offer there in and around 620, 630. end the trade right now. We're in 4 winners, man. We're in Tesla. We're in the triple Qs. We're in Palantir that's trying to get going again. We're in Mullen right now. That's $1.26. We're in Google, and we already put Amazon on the board. What a good day it's been. It's 10:50, and you're getting ready to have Obi, which, by the way, Obi, you might want to come over here and log in at some point, because that show's getting kicked out here in just a couple of seconds. No, he's actually not ready. He has to log in.
Well, he's literally getting up right now.
Yeah, exactly. So glad we mentioned that. So there it is. He's born ready, baby. And that's why we're here.
Obi's in here early. Like, trust me. Like,
Being in here early has nothing to do with being sitting down and logged in, Obi. So let's get over there and get logged in. All right, here goes Google right now, 166.70. Hopefully that makes a move back into the downside. We're excited for you. In 10 minutes, it's Obi and Adara, always a favorite of mine. So coming through there, the anointed one. We'll have a good show here. Here comes Google right back in. I mean, you guys thought, hey, 5 for 5 was good, right, Neil? There's no way we could go 6 for 6. But let's see what happens right now with Google pushing into the downside. Put a bid out at 59, see if we can get that fill, and then go on from there. So far, so good here this morning, guys.
Yeah, and top VoIP, we're not sleeping on Alibaba. I got Alibaba up right now, and it's that same trade from last week that always set up. Well, last 2 weeks, I should say. If it breaks out or breaks down, once it settles and bounces into VWAP, that's the play. If it's a dip into VWAP, most times if it dips early, it's a recovery into VWAP and a bounce off of VWAP. So that's what I like in Alibaba. We've done it a few times before. It just got through now and made this local breakout. So I'm over here with Baba looking for the longs in front of 81.25. Microsoft and Apple are both still working in either direction. Apple weak, Microsoft strong. They were both weak this morning, for most of the morning, I should say. And then, you know, Microsoft had news. It still hasn't broken out the top yet. So until it breaks out this high, makes a higher low, I don't think I want to add to it just yet. But the one I did want to add to the south side is still going to be underneath VWAP and Intel. And I think I'm going to wet the beak here in the low 31s. We never got back into Coinbase. And most of it had to do with the fact that Bitcoin is just not doing anything. And if anything, it's sliding a little bit lower. So Bitcoin doing nothing. Coinbase doesn't even try to bounce off VWAP, so no need to go into it long there. We did get a good long on a dip the first time through. We're able to take a few bucks on it. But Coinbase now starting to fall apart a little bit here as we just got an Alibaba, and I'm still not in that Intel short. I guess if it breaks 31, I'll just be taking some 99s.
Yeah. We love Intel, man. We've been crushing Intel lately. Intel's been one of the top stocks for me on the chip side. We looked back, and I thought NVDA was #1 for me last month. I'm going to check out on Intel as well. But here we go, man. This is it again. We're putting them down one more time. There's Google on the short. We talked about getting into something short for Google, and someone said mark it down. And then we were like, uh-oh, what about Apple? Look, see Apple not moving? Google right now with the news from Microsoft. Let's see if, or sorry, not Amazon, Google with the news here with Microsoft. And there's a couple points, but nothing. Hopefully it gets a little lower than that, and we'll be able to cash out a little bit here for Google. So far, so good right there on Google. Just out of a little bit. Mullen, it did get to 6. That might be a good spot for us. Let's put an offer upside on Mullen in and around $6. But yeah, you know, we'll be leaving you guys here close to our high of the day. So it's been a pretty good one here, obviously, as we talk about that with no losing trades on board. So far, so good here. But let's go over to the desk. Still no lunchtime, but we do have Money Talks with Adara.
Fourth straight day of downside here for the DXY, coming into this previous area of resistance around 105 after falling out of its previous range last week. So looks like downside on the horizon here for the DXY. Only number we got earlier today, a bit of a more minor number, slightly lower than expected. CB Employment Trends Index number here coming in for April. Not a lot of economic data in the early parts of this week. We do get Fed's Barkin today, 12:50. Then we get Fed's Williams at 1 p.m. Tomorrow morning, though, this will be interesting. 11:30 a.m. we get Fed's Kashkari. Fed's Kashkari has notoriously been a little bit more hawkish, saying in mid-April that he doesn't know if there even will be any rate cuts based on how things are looking right now for 2024, saying that we need to see better inflation. So Interesting to see what Fed's Kashkari will have to say coming into tomorrow. Right now, there are 2 more Fed speakers to keep an eye on here coming into the 1 p.m. hour, guys.
Yes, sir. Who do we? It was Goolsby, I think. I mean, it doesn't really. No, it was Barkin and Williams. Oh yeah, Barkin.
Barkin, huh?
Well, the last. Whatever. You never really know what's going to happen when the Fed speakers go through, but I do remember Barkin reversing the markets the last time. I can say a pun if I wanted to, but there's no point. NVIDIA is so super strong today. Just to reiterate, we got to always talk about it. For me, the breakouts on NVIDIA, both of which didn't work out. Unfortunate there. Like, there was a nice little scalp opportunity if you took it, but then you're going to get that clean move up on NVIDIA. The other lesson for NVIDIA is how badly the dip buyers seem to want this stock. This had broken underneath on the daily chart, underneath VWAP, and I feel like I was like a lot of other people thinking you were going to get retracements, something with a 6 in front of it on NVIDIA. You're going to be back into the top end of the range by the end of this day. If you're not already there, I think you could almost argue that you're already there. So I sold for the first time some of my shares at 922, and you know what? Even in all that dip, I didn't get a single thing back in. Technically, I bought the Qs during that time a couple times, so I got a little bit back in NVIDIA, but the dip buyers on this stock are absolutely relentless, and it's not the only one, because we get ARM earnings this week, and ARM was down in the 80s. It's back at 108, and it's breaking out up 5%. If this so much as sniffs $120, it's a short today. All that said. Support to resistance, I'd short that stock. Microsoft's starting to go, but it's still just at 408.80. Cannot seem to break these highs. I might just take the 409. I don't know why Microsoft isn't stronger than this off of that news. But I'm not seeing what I would like out of this. I thought you'd just be absolutely flying and dying to break out even further after that AI news for Microsoft. And Alibaba, VWAP play for me. That's a newest one with 4 minutes to go. Alibaba's been a strong stock this morning, maybe not so much, but every single time it's dipped the last few days, it's been a dip, and when it gets back and holds VWAP, I usually like the long back into the high of the day. For Baba, someone's saying Dash News there, Eagle Guy. I don't know, but DoorDash, I mean, they got smoked on earnings, and it hasn't even broken back above the earnings top, or post-earnings top, I should say. So until that happens, I think you're chilling out in the range. That's $120. Just took the Microsoft out. Doesn't feel like it's got the velocity that I would have expected post that news. So we're out in front of the high of the day on Softy.
All right. Oh, yeah. So Tesla breaks 200 period. We're out. Right there, 184 out. So upside, our best out on that was 185 on a 184.20. Again, look where it hits, man. VWAP perfectly and falls right back down in. So if you guys are always wondering like why I told Adara the only thing she should be looking at is VWAP, there you go. There's another reason right there. For all you starting traders out there, keep it as simple as you possibly can. Just use VWAP and work off of that is my advice. Right there, we do get another out on Palantir right now at 82. I mean, this one is an absolute smoke show today. Like, I know that doesn't really make any sense, but it's really been smoking to the upside here and just continues to go. I do have that Mullen offer now, just so you guys know, at 6. I was going to wait for that 625-ish area right there on the daily because we touched it twice. We did break through higher. This could be that day, but we did wick high with a very big exhaustion move, you know, back-to-back jacks on the green, and then all the way up there to $6, and then a fail down on that side. So that's really working out for us nicely there on Mullen. But it did fail out there. Google, we did not get reloaded, but you know what? It don't matter because it's another one of those ideas that we just had on. And remember, someone in the chat was like, market falling. I was like, okay, I wanted Google short anyways, market not falling, but look what is falling, Google. So again, a big day over here, and here we go right now. This is our, whoops, that's the wrong one. That's my Twitter, which is not as nearly as important as what I'm about to show you, which is this, the Freedom and Wealth podcast right now, ready to rock and roll, coming out. No episodes yet. Hit this subscribe like I just did for the first time. And then make sure you get that. Get over here, see what it's all about. Nice description. We're all over the place here. Welcome to Freedom and Wealth Podcast. So we'll talk to two average guys all about some decisions we've made, hot topics in the space. It's your Freedom and Wealth Podcast coming to all of the podcasting platforms near you. And it's only 1 minute left, and unfortunately, I do not have
lunch.
The infamous. You know, I mean, we're here to create content.
Make a guess.
We're here to create content. Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's.
We haven't. So
good. I like that. Let's make a guess.
The problem is, I'm just gonna guess what I want to have, which is
Yeah.
when they do the sausages are really good, but we're not getting Italian sausage. I think we already had that last week.
Yeah.
But that's what I'd like to have today. So with any luck,
but what would
not
be the
having chicken.
Okay, so the guess is sausage.
You know, my guess is sausage.
Okay, my guess is some sort of barbecue leg of chicken with seasoned wedges and green beans.
Ooh, green beans.
We'll see. We'll update that.
Our salad is going to have, it's going to be an egg
Please have
salad.
tuna.
On our, no, I'm going to guess egg salad.
Okay, I'm down with egg salad. Egg salad's not number 2 for me.
Yeah.
So the chicken salad, sometimes that's on there, is pretty good. Sometimes questionable. Tuna, always good. And then, you know, I don't mind.
As long as it's not the lunch meat, then I'm
right. Exactly. The lunch meat is something that
You don't do that on a salad. That's just.
all right. So now, yeah, you don't have to. My wife does it, but she does it with olives and everything. The salad is absolutely amazing. Shout out to my wife, who just continues to amaze me every single day. Okay, so here we go, man. I didn't think we'd go 6 for 6, but we did. It's a hot dog kind of day. And despite not knowing what is for lunch, I hope you guys have a bunch of chicken dinner winners because we've had them over here, and there's lots of news to drop. There's Fed speak, there's lessons, and most importantly, there's Obi and Adara. So for Neil and I, thank you so much.
Go.
We'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Hey everybody, welcome back to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. I am Adara, and this is Obi, and we're gonna wait for everybody to kind of get into the chat here and putting on my best Sharif, I guess, here. Bears versus Bulls, saying Adobe's back on the Midday Show together.